Face the Nation originated from Washington, D.C.
Today, CBS Sports gives you a view unlike any other in the world as they race in the 25th Daytona 500. Be a part of the action today on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
Ladies, Big Sisters needs volunteers. Won't you please give some of your time to help a young girl? For more information regarding daytime and Saturday training, call 634-6102.
The great outdoors comes indoors at the 29th Annual Indianapolis Boat Sport and Travel Show. Friday, February 18th through Sunday the 27th at the State Fairgrounds. See spectacular stage shows featuring Wes Harrison, Mr. Sound Effects. Attend Saturday morning fishing clinics. Plan your dream vacation at the Giant Travel Plaza. See fabulous boats and RVs. Or just for fun, wet a line in Tackletown's beautiful lake. Or win a trip to fabulous San Diego via Ozark Airlines. It's all at the Boat Sport and Travel Show. Open 5 p.m. weekdays, weekends at noon.
So this one car dealer shows me a sporty little sedan and says $12,000. I said, that sounds kind of high. He says, okay, $12,000. I said, what'll I need for a down payment? He said, federal aid. Then I came out to Blossom's, got me this gorgeous, roomy little four-door Citation at a price that tickled my checkbook plumb to death.
We'll put you in a car without putting you in a bind. Blossom Chevrolet.
Lord, they're good people. Good people.
Jane.
miles an hour and sets a new world speed record for Britain. Who's going to win the inaugural Daytona 500? Three drivers. Petty, Weatherly, Beauchamp come down to the line. They are three wide at the line, and it will be Beauchamp.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding.
This is the world center of speed, the Daytona International Speedway. For today, before the largest crowd in stock car racing history, we await the start of the 25th annual Daytona 500, the great American race.
This CBS Sports Special is sponsored by U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. Pontiac, who invites you to test drive a new Pontiac at your Pontiac dealer. At Pontiac, we build excitement. And by the makers of Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days, the smokeless tobaccos.
And good afternoon. afternoon from Daytona International Speedway. I'm Ken Squire here with you for the 25th running of the Daytona 500. And what a transition the past 25 years has represented. This used to be the high holy day for what they called good old boy stock car racing. Well, that connotation today is simply no longer true. When the Vice President of the United States waves the green flag in about 25 minutes, he will open the gates on all that courage and commitment which America loves. America thrives on competition, and that is truly what this sport is all about. And one of the reasons it is so competitive is because of the cars themselves. Now, think of this for a moment. One of those teams on the front row for this 25th Daytona 500 is worth just about the entire starting field for that original Daytona 500 25 years back. Those million-dollar sponsorships have changed the complexion of motor racing. They have brought parity to the cars. The issue, then, are the men who will attempt to control them over the next several hours. No one can speak to that subject better than my colleague on pit road, the two-time Grand National champion, Ned Jarrett.
Thank you, Ken Squire, and good afternoon, everyone. There is a lot of parity in this sport now. 15 years ago, Richard Petty, who is the 7-time national champion, dominated this sport. He's won this race 7 times, but things have changed now. There are more different potential winners in the field. Richard, why?
Well, I guess the competition is so much better now because we've got so many more big sponsors in it. A lot of the boys learned from 4 or 5 teams, and then when the money come in, they split those teams up, and we've just got so many much more potential winners now just because the money's come in and just made better race cars.
What has this done for you and the Petty team?
Well, it's not helped us a whole lot, that's for sure, but we're still in there digging, and you know, we still got a good chance to win. We got an awful good chance to win the race this year.
Richard, you had a little bit of a bug yesterday. How do you feel now as you get ready to get in this number 43?
Well, I'm ready to go. Time I win this race, then I'll feel real good about it.
Well, he's very optimistic, Ken.
The rights of racing begin early in February with a 24-hour race, which A.J. Foyt played a great part in this year. Moved to last weekend when we had time trials. And all through the week, it is a week of adventure. Last weekend, Cale Yarborough broke all records in qualifying. At over 200 miles an hour, he turned 1 lap in this car, number 28. Then in the second lap, trying to go even faster, Cale Yarborough broke loose in the east banking. His car floated backwards into the wall, demolished. His record will not stand. His effort has been washed. Another man will be on the pole, and Cale Yarborough has to start further back in the field today. Larry Nuber is with him.
Cale, obviously you have to put the events of the week behind you, but how do you feel getting in another race car that certainly has the potential of doing exactly what happened to you earlier in the week?
Well, of course, I hope that's the only time that's going to happen during the week. You know, we've been here, and we hope we have this car prepared for the race, and I just feel like it's a good race car. And what happened, I think, early in the week was just more something maybe a little freakish than anything else. I think a gust of wind got me and just took me out of control, but I think we're going to be in pretty good shape for the race.
Cale, you did not get out unscathed. You've been limping a little bit this week. Is that going to be a problem for you during the running of the race?
Well, I really hope not. I've been limping some. I had a sore toe. I don't know whether it came from the crash or what it came from, but it's much better today.
Well, traditionally in racing, the car, not the driver, qualifies for an event. And obviously, Cale's record-breaking race car, destroyed in the crash, is not in the race. Therefore, he had to qualify another car. He lost the pole. The pole was inherited by a young driver, a surprise perhaps to some of you, but to the racing fraternity, a lot of eyes have been looking at Ricky Rudd for quite some time, and Ned Jarrett is with him.
And Ricky, 25 years ago when this track first opened, was just 1 year old, and here he is sitting on the pole for the biggest race. Ricky, your feelings about that?
Well, Ned, we're anxious to go. You know, a lot of these guys are been around for a long time, but they're really good, and I just hope I get my chance out here today.
You have a lot of real veterans behind you, very fast cars back there. How do you feel about that? Are you going to be able to keep them back there?
Well, we hope. We're starting off good. We hope we end up the same way. We're anxious to get the race underway, and we've had a few minor problems all week. We've tried to sort them out. We feel like we've got the car pretty close. We'll find out here in, I guess, about 10 minutes.
Well, Ken, he's never been in victory lane in a NASCAR race, Grand National race, but he's looking for that first one here today.
It has been a week strewn with incidents, and one of those incidents involved the defending champion of this Daytona 500. Just a few days ago, Bobby Allison out of control in the clash, slamming the wall as he came out of turn 4 and destroying that automobile. he walked away from that incident. Then 1 day later, while running with A.J. Foyt, involved in a second crash and 2 cars totally demolished. So Bobby Allison awaits the start now in a 3rd car. And let's go down to the pits, see if we can get a word with this giant of racing, a 2-time Daytona 500 winner.
Ken, affectionately, they've been calling this 22C. Bobby, first of all, about you. You, too, suffered some injuries. You're wearing a flak jacket yesterday. Are you donning it today also?
Well, I'm a little better today than I was. I did get bruised up in that second crash, unfortunately. But I had the confidence that the crew went right to work for me. And we've had to run a race or two in the past with an ache or a pain here or there. So I think that part will be okay. Fortunately, I do feel much better today than I have earlier in the week.
You've been in races like this many times, Bobby. You got a long ways to go. What can we expect from you at the beginning? Are you going to be one of our headliners the first 20 laps?
Well, I don't really want to be a headliner. I'd like to move up as traffic permits, but I know traffic's going to be heavy. It's a very fast field, and I think that what we're really concerned about is it's a 500-mile race, and we'd like to be around at the end.
Ken, the only one of these 500-mile races at Daytona he has won, he won from deep in the pack.
The tension button here at Daytona is just about to burst, and before we get down to the business of starting this Daytona 500, my colleague here in the booth today will be David Hobbs of England, a man who's competed in this race as well as almost any other form of racing. Your thoughts about what we have here?
Well, the week undeniably got off to a terrible start, and I think that was mainly a part of the weather. The weather was raining a lot, the drivers didn't get much practice, the track was always in a green state, the racing groove kept getting washed away, and we had a rash of accidents which included some of the giants of racing. But the other consideration is money. This is the most visible form of motorsport in the world now, with about 2.5 million spectators, plus a huge TV audience. This has attracted many sponsorships from all over this country, and so we have a lot more really competitive machinery. The fact is that we now have 30 people that could win this race, whereas the last decade, quite frankly, only about 3 or 4 drivers used to win all the races. Now we've got new winners practically every week. The thing we have to ask ourselves, we've got 42 cars, there's less than 10 miles an hour across the grid. 20 years ago, these cars had a 20-mile-an-hour spread. Are there 42 cars, and 42 drivers rather, out there capable of driving these cars at over 190 miles an hour? The other thing that's happened is that technically these cars really aren't so much different to what they were 15 years ago. If you look under the hood, under the skin, the car looks pretty much the same. But there's been great detail improvements, and these cars are speeded up from around about 175 to nearly 200 miles an hour, and they really are on the ragged edge. So we must ask ourselves, is it now time to slow these cars down a little bit before they get too fast on these super speedways? Ken?
Stand by. We'll be taking a look at the starting lineup for the 25th annual $1 million Daytona 500, and then our live flag-to-flag coverage of the great American race.
There's a time in life for the young to say, I want something else, a different way. The town's the same, the people too. School is over, need something to do. The services have it, it'll really show. You'll see new places, you'll really grow in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Challenge, adventure, excitement too, a time to enjoy and see something new. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, feel really free, serving your country for all to see in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Be part of a team, be friends forever, a part of the services you won't forget ever. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
From out of the distance comes a driver's car. Pontiac 2000 for 1983. A car that takes on the road with a smooth shifting 5-speed transmission with overdrive. The ready response of electronic fuel injection. And the steady wheeling power of an overhead cam 4-cylinder engine. Pontiac 2000. Pure driving pleasure. At Pontiac, we build excitement.
Most guys spend Sunday taking it easy. Not me. When I'm racing the Bandit, there's no taking it easy. So I'm out here early before a race trying to relax. Just me and my skull. Just a pinch gives me real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. And that wintergreen flavor's a real winner.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes.
I see by your job application, you've scored 6 million on the video game Munchman.
Yeah?
And I see you shot down 2 billion aliens from the planet Mongo.
Yeah.
You are good at computer games. So what do you know about computers?
If you're going to spend your time playing video games, why not play them on something that can also teach you about computing? Get a Commodore VIC-20. It's tough to grow up in a computer age without learning about computers.
And here is the starting lineup for the 25th annual Daytona 500. In row number 1, the pole, a record for Chevrolet driver, Virginia's Ricky Rudd at 198 miles an hour. The pride of Chemung, New York, Jeff Bodine in a Pontiac beside him. Row 2, in a 1982 Ford, 83 Ford, the Grand National Champion Dale Earnhardt of 80, and the Renegade from Alabama in a Chevrolet, Neil Bonnet. Row number 3 will be the 1980 champion Buddy Baker and Richard Petty. Going to row 4, Richard's son Kyle and two-time 500 winner Cale Yarborough. Row 5, 1972 Daytona winner A.J. Foyt and Richard Brooks. In row 6, California's Joe Ruttman and Indiana's Mark Martin. Row 7, the Bandit Harry Gant and the 75 champion Benny Parsons. In row 8, the Silver Fox 76 winner David Pearson and Mississippi's Lake Speed. Row 9 is Bill Elliott and Jody Ridley, both from Georgia. In row number 10, Elliott Forbes Robinson of California, Wisconsin's Jim Sauter. Row 11 is Dave Marcus of Wisconsin and the pride of Spokane, Tom Sneva. In row 12, Massachusetts, Ron Bouchard. The CBS camera on board is Tim Richmond on the outside, number 27 with that camera. In row 13, Pennsylvania's Tommy Gale and first-timer Bosco Lowe. In row 14, it's Missouri's Dean Roper and the rookie Ronnie Hopkins. Going to row 15, we come to James Hilton and the rookie Baldwin out of Texas, Rick Baldwin. Row 16, it's Darrell Waltrip, defending national champion, and Phil Parsons back there. Going to row 17, Sterling Marlin and the Chrysler driver, Buddy Arrington in the race. In row 18, Bobby Allison driving Hurt Today and Ronnie Thomas. Row 19 is J.D. McDuffie and Del McCowan. Row 20, it's Lenny Pond and Clark Dwyer. And going to row 21, Terry Labonte of Corpus Christi, Texas, and Jimmy Smut-Means out of Alabama, coming from way out back. That's the starting lineup for today's Daytona 500. There you see them down there online. And the weather today they're going to face looks a little complex. Even though we have blue skies, the wind in the past 20 minutes has arisen, and it could be very nasty out there. There you see the starch and the flags as we get ready for the start of this race. Let's go to Ned Jarrett, standing by now with a man who really has to fight his way up through. Ned?
Yes, he does. He's Darrell Waltrip, two-time Grand National champion. He's won about everything else in this sport, Ken, excepting the Daytona 500. And, Darrell, that one sort of eluded you. Does it bother you?
Well, yes, it has. Today, we're starting back here in 31st spot, and I've never started this far back, so we're very optimistic. We think that's a good omen. We're going to start back here, work our way to the front, and once we get there, we're going to stay there.
Even though you know that it could be a little more dangerous, you got a lot of cars here that you're a lot faster that are in front of you up here. What kind of a problem will that present?
Well, I just called Ricky Rudd up there on the pole and told him I'd take care of the back door and he'd take care of the front door for a while till I could ease on up there with him. So there's a lot of good cars in the race this time. And there's a bunch of guys right here ahead of me that are all good, experienced drivers. And if I can pick my way by a few of them and move up 1-2 cars every lap or so, that's all I really want to do. I'm not going to try to charge to the front.
Hey, those are the words of Darrell Waltrip as he gets ready to fire this number 11 off.
Every seat is sold. The infield is packed. They'll have to double-deck them in another year. Ready now for the invocation. The Reverend Hal Marchman of the Central Baptist Church of Daytona Beach will be giving the invocation for this Daytona 500. 42 drivers already in their automobiles, awaiting the start of the 25th Daytona 500. And there you see the start-finish line area and part of the congregation gathered for this race.
Almighty God, we thank you for this great nation in which we live. And today we pray for all of those the leaders of our nation. And today we give thanks for the group of people gathered here for the excitement of the races. And we thank you for this 25th anniversary, for the beautiful history in the past. But we thank you most of all for the vision we have for the future. and for what the International Motorsports is doing for our world and our community. So we pray for your spirit to abide within all of us. You've promised to be, in our time of weakness, you've promised to be strength. In time of decision, you've promised to be wisdom. In time of hurting, you've promised to be help. May we share this spirit as we enjoy these great moments of racing. Amen.
The national anthem will be sung by Jim Hayes, as it has in the past, from Orlando, Florida.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars ruled the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The transition begins from a peaceful Sunday morning to a battle zone. You are inside Cale Yarborough's car. Cale is one of two drivers with our CBS cameras on board for this 25th Daytona 500. You are looking now inside of A.J. Foyt's car, the 1972 winner of this event. A.J. Foyt has had an excellent week. The car is running superbly, and he's as good as ever.
Start your engines.
The command to start the engines given by the Grand Marshal, Donald Kendall. He is the chairman of the board and chief executive of the Pepsi-Cola Company. And the field rumbles to life. The balloons go into the sky, and it is the tradition of racing. That moment when everyone stands in the grandstand, a wave of the hat to each of these drivers, to their favorites, as they prepare for the start. You are now inside our second CBS onboard camera car, Tim Richmond, Ashland, Ohio. Richmond with car number 27. He too has had a very good week out here at the Daytona International Speedway. He'll be starting in the 24th position on the outside with his Pontiac. There you see Ernie Moore, longtime NASCAR official. He's been here as long as the racetrack, overlooking the field. There you see Richard Petty's number 43, the 7-time winner. Right behind him, Cale Yarborough, a 2-time winner. Then comes Richard Brooks, that number 90 car, the Ford, and another Ford, number 2. That is Dale Earnhardt. Then Benny Parsons is driving that 55, brother Mark Martin in the number 2. Then the number 1 car, which has a new driver this year, Lake Speed, and the rest of the field. Last moments before they send them away, and probably 2 preliminary laps before they turn them loose, David Hobbs.
Ken, today we're hoping for a lot better day than earlier on in the week. The weather looks terrific, but the wind has definitely strung up, and I think it's going to be a problem for these drivers today.
There is Vice President George Bush, Bill France Sr., the man who built this track, who came here in the 30s to Daytona to race and decided to stay.
His story is that his son Billy, who's now the vice president of the Speedway, said he liked the beach. Could we stay here, Dad? And that's how they got here.
One of the other stories was the car broke down and they couldn't go on to Miami or Tampa where they were intending to race. worked in a filling station, worked as a bartender for a while, and then built this track, this gigantic facility, created a group called NASCAR, now the strongest body, sanctioning bodies in America, perhaps in the world. And he has also built the Talladega track, the Alabama International Motor Speedway. There is the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise out of Pompano Beach, Florida, captained by Richard Daniels, giving its stamp of credibility to the event. And from there are amazing pictures of this great 2.5-mile high bank racing facility. By high bank, we mean 31 degrees on the east and west end of the speedway, 17 degrees in the tri-oval area.
The tri-oval area, of course, is one of the fastest parts on this track, and I think that's where we could see a bit of bother today because the wind is blowing right into that tri-oval quite hard.
Field beginning to roll. David, you called the shot in the 125-mile races. You said turn 2 would be a problem, and indeed it was, with some disastrous crashes. What about today? The wind has changed some, but it is just as stiff.
It has changed completely the opposite direction. It's blowing, as I say, into the tri-oval, into turn 1, and coming out of turn 4, which is a spot that always gives a lot of drivers trouble anyway because of the bump as they go over the infield tunnel. Obviously, we hope it won't be as disastrous as Thursday twin qualifying heats.
The field rolls out. All 42 cars have come to life and are getting ready for the 25th annual Daytona 500.
When America wanted a high-performance radial that could handle wet weather, Goodyear came through with the Eagle GT.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on number 1.
The high-performance Eagle GT. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on number 1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on number 1.
The standing quarter mile. This machine is about to attack it. A motorcycle that can turn 65 cubic inches into an incredible amount of horsepower. The Honda V65 Magna. It's about to become the world's fastest production motorcycle.
It's a funny feeling when you're 17, just finished school, and times are lean, don't have a job, don't know what to do, never learned a skill, and you want to work too. Well, you know the services have the means to teach someone who's still in his teens. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they'll take you, train you, show you the way. You'll work hard, get decent pay in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Serving your country's a real good start, helping pay for college is a services part. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Future in doubt, shed that lead. Join the services and get ahead in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Beatico Creek, Louisiana, and Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Beatico Creek means bass, fat and tasty, and Milwaukee means beer, cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer, and the smooth golden light taste of Old Milwaukee Light.
Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light
Tastes as great as their name.
Let me tell you, it doesn't get any better than this.
In a lap they will be racing. They are now up on the west end of the speedway. You are inside of Cale Yarborough's car, and we have a little surprise for you today. Cale Yarborough, can you hear us? This is Ken Squire.
Loud and clear, Ken.
Okay, Cale, how is it in there getting set to start the Daytona 500?
Well, everything looks pretty good right now. The racetrack has a lot of sand on it. Looks like it's going to be a little dusty for the first few laps. Wind looks like it's getting up a little bit too, and if the speeds are as high as I think they're going to be, it could cause problems during the day.
Good luck to you and your try for a third Daytona 500.
Thank you, Ken.
Back further in the field is car number 27, starting in the 24th position, Tim Richmond out of Ashland, Ohio. Tim Richmond, Ken Squire, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Ken Squire. The number 27 has you. We're just now approaching turn 3. We'll be starting this race when we come down for the flag in second gear. So we're sitting back here in a position, and we don't want to make a move too quick. We've got some cars around that we don't know their situation, so we're just now coming into turn 4.
Good luck to you, Tim. Have a great day. Field coming down out of turn number 4. And the $1 million 25th anniversary Daytona 500 now has brought its pace car onto pit road, and it is a green light. The flag is out from the Vice President, George Bush. They are away. Going into turn number 1, that front row is Ricky Rudd and Jeff Bodine, and they are side by side as they go in. Let's go back to Cale Yarborough's car as he tries to move through. He's getting underneath Bill Elliott as he fights his way up one spot. That is Tim Richmond getting by Bill Elliott as he picks up one spot. Going down the back straightaway, moves in. Going underneath David Pearson in car number 16. Back with the leaders. Leaders coming around to complete lap number 1.
Very high on the wall there for a first lap, and this is going to come through turn 4. They're out of line is Cale Yarborough in that number 28 car. He's got himself out of line.
Ricky Rudd leads the first lap. Dale Earnhardt is in second. It is Rudd now the leader. Notice that Richard Petty is pulled right up in there. He has run well all week long. He was sick yesterday, did not come out to the track but for just a brief practice. Now there's Bobby Allison fighting his way up through. Remember, he started way back in the field in the number 22 35th, and right in front of him is Darrell Waltrip trying to bring himself up through the traffic. Back with the leaders. New leader, Earnhardt in the Ford Thunderbird going out in front. Going into second place is Jeff Bodine. Bodine with a new livery on that car this year, the green and white colors that were carried by Allison previously. Bodine drives to the inside. Bodine takes the lead. Jeff Bodine goes out in front. Here comes Richard Petty down to the inside. Earnhardt is second. Petty lies third.
A massive 25-car draft here with Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough. Starting off, Darrell Waltrip are going to want to get on soon, dragged onto as soon as they can.
Bodine in front, Earnhardt in second, Petty is in third. Cale Yarborough trying to cut his way up through traffic.
And Richard Petty going low there as they come through turn 4, and he takes a turn at the front of this pack.
19-car lead pack. At the stripe. Petty goes into first. Bunching up going in the corner. Kyle Petty becomes a factor. Neil Bonnet begins to ride. They double them up on the corner. Petty on the inside. In the red and blue car. The white and green car on the outside is Jeff Bodine. Then comes that yellow and blue machine. Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt's been running very strongly all week. He had a bit of bad luck in the Sportsman race yesterday, but he's been running turning some very good laps all through qualifying and practice.
Back once again with Cale Yarborough's automobile.
Following Buddy Baker in the number 21 car. Buddy Baker, a winner here previously, and a very fast man on these super speedways.
Lap 4 complete. Neil Bonnet goes into fourth. And there goes Yarborough trying to get beneath Buddy Baker. Going down into turn 1. Yarborough, you're riding with him on the inside. Baker is on the outside with the Wood Brothers car. Baker stays in front of Cale Yarborough.
Well, Cale Yarborough slips back behind Buddy there because as they come onto that long backstretch, he doesn't want to get left out in the cold. He wants to be behind Buddy to take full advantage of the draft.
Change of leadership once again. Jeff Bodine going for first place. Richard Petty second. Earnhardt is third. Bonnet is fourth. Running fifth is Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty stays right with the leaders as they come back again. Could the Pettys win the first and the 25th? The grandfather won the first one. The sixth place car is Joe Rutland. The seventh place car is Richard Brooks driving the Junior Donlevy car. First car on pit road. It is the car number 6, Jim Sauter. There's Darrell Waltrip still on the attack. There is Jim Sauter from Wisconsin driving the DK Ulrich car. Back with the leaders. Here comes Petty another time. Working the 6th lap. Earnhardt going to second. Bodine dropping to third.
Richard Petty's been looking awfully good all this week, and so is his son Kyle. Not only could he win the 25th anniversary race, they could come first and second.
At the line, 6 laps complete this time. Petty first, Earnhardt, Bodine, Bonnet, and Kyle Petty. And Joe Ruttman stays right there in the car number 98. Let's go to Ned Jarrett in the pits.
Jim Sauter's car number 6 is in with the hood up. As you can see, smoke coming from under the hood. They think they have a valve cover gasket leaking. They have tightened that up now, putting the hood back down and sending him on his way.
Back straight away. It is Earnhardt going back in front. Bodine going to second. Bodine gets a little high. Petty has to move around him on the outside, and Petty almost to the wall.
And the leader of this lap is going to pick up a cool $7,000. So there's obviously going to be a bit of a scrap for the lead on this lap.
Here's Allison and Waltrip moving back. Here they come, and for $7,000, looked like it was Earnhardt, but Petty was on the attack. Petty has gone back into first. And going into the second position, dragged along with him, is his son Kyle. That is the highest he has run in race action. You're back with Dale Yarber, or rather with Tim Richmond another time. Richmond making a move on A.J. Foyt.
A.J. Foyt's been running awfully strongly this week.
Up on us again. Looks that way.
Tim Richmond, you can hear him talking to his crew there as he continues to have a conversation while going better than 190 miles per hour. We have a new leader. It is Kyle Petty in car number 7 leading the way. Earnhardt is in second. Richard Petty is in third. And Kyle Petty is out in front. Thus far, in just 9 laps. They are working in lap 9. They've had 6 official lead changes among, 7 lead changes among 5 drivers. Those are official only at the start-finish line. It is now Kyle Petty out in front, looking for his first Daytona 500 win. His father, the 7-time Daytona champion, lying third in the field.
I can't help feeling it must be a very peculiar feeling to be out there knowing that's your son just 2 cars in front of you driving such breakneck speed as this.
A little noisy down there. Kyle Petty continues to lead. Richard told me the other night that if it got down to it between him and his son, neither would live. But he said if you had to write a story about it, wouldn't it be grand? If the grandfather could win the first one, he had won 7, and the 25th could be won by Kyle. Kyle Petty now in front. Earnhardt hangs right on to the second place. Richard Petty maintaining third. The one to watch is Neil Bonnet. He's had an incredible week. He maintains fourth. Going in the 5th position, it is Joe Ruttman. Ruttman hangs on in 5th. Bodine has been relegated to 6th, and back to 7th goes car number 90. That is Richard Brooks. Let's go to Larry Newbert.
With Gary Nelson, Bobby Allison's crew chief, are you making the progress, Gary, that you felt you need to make to this point?
Well, we're 7 seconds behind the leaders right now. That's pretty good considering how far back we started. If we could catch the lead draft, we'd feel a lot better. We're doing well.
Bobby's had to run the car pretty hard. Is he punishing it?
No, he's being pretty careful. He said the car was a little bit on the loose side. We're going to have to adjust for that as soon as we get a pit stop here. But he's pretty comfortable.
Action coming up at the other end of the pit road with Ned Jarrett.
Right now, Larry Newbert, we're looking at Jim Sauter, who is back in the pits. They've had to pull the valve cover off the right side of the engine and replace the gasket on it, so he's losing a lot of time here in the early going. We have a report that Phil Parsons, who started far back in the field but has followed Bobby Allison up through the pack, might be coming in. We'll keep check on that.
Well, Phil Parsons has managed to hook up a draft with Bobby Allison and Terry Labonte, who did in fact start absolutely dead last, and I'm sure that they'll try and use that 3-car draft to get to the front. But unfortunately, Phil Parsons' elder brother, Benny Parsons, the winner of this race previously, has just pulled into pit road in car number 55. He won this race in 1973, but he isn't going to win it this year. He's pulled into the garage area.
Working the 12th lap as they continue to battle for the lead. Kyle Petty stays in front. Move is on by Joe Ruttman out of Upland, California. He had our CBS camera on board a year ago and raced himself to 3rd place in this Daytona 500. He's now carrying the same number with which his brother Troy won at Indianapolis back in 1952. Maybe that'll change the luck for him. Joe Ruttman now into 2nd place. Getting some times, David. Some speeds for you when we come back with these messages from our live coverage of the 1983 Daytona 500.
Create a car to conquer the wind. A car that lets you slip off the commonplace and experience driving excitement as never before. The Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Sit here and learn firsthand how Firebird conquers the wind and the world. Pontiac, we build excitement.
Sure feels good taking it easy. Boy, what a day. I don't know what's tougher, roping steers or rashing them. It's times like now, God really appreciates his skull. Just a pinch gives you real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. And that wintergreen flavor, that's really top notch. This is a mighty fine way to unwind.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes.
An earth loader like this kicks up a tremendous amount of dust that could destroy its engine. To keep it out, Fram designed a special double air filter. Today, you can get the same kind of thing for cars, the Fram Extra Light. The inside works like a normal filter, the outside an extra filter. It traps 50% more dust than Fram's old single filter, but it doesn't cost any more. The Fram Extra Life, 50% extra protection and no extra cost.
Around the world, there's just one thing we do. Just one, senor.
We make the world's favorite chicken. We make it especially for you.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it right. No other fried chicken is so right.
Prepared by hand. What a lovely sight.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
How did Ronald Reagan and Frank Sinatra get mixed up in a story about an ancient order of knights of the realm looking for a new kingdom? Watch 60 Minutes Sunday on CBS.
After 10 laps, the speed was averaging 191 miles per hour with Joe Ruttman now the leader. Caliopolo, as you see, has pulled up into the 4th position, and they switch positions again. Kyle Petty into the lead, Richard Petty going to second. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
The first car in the garage area is Benny Parsons, the 1975 winner. We reported a moment ago that Phil Parsons might be coming in, but it was Benny. Benny, what was the problem?
It lost a cylinder right off, Ned, and started dropping back, and then it started running on less than 7 cylinders. And I just felt like it wasn't going to last 500 miles, so the safest place I could be for everybody concerned was in here.
Benny, after get your adrenaline up and really keyed up for this race has to be very disappointing.
I just might hit you right in the nose.
I'm sorry, man.
I mean, that's how bad it is.
Well, Benny, we're sorry to see you. Better luck next time.
Back straightaway. Leaders, the Pettys of Level Cross, North Carolina. It is car number 7 and 43, Kyle Petty and his dad, running nose to tail. And here is Terry Labonte, who has been just splitting this field as he's moved all the way from the back. Terry Labonte started 41st out here.
Terry Labonte had bad luck in the qualifying race. In fact, his engine wouldn't start at all. But of course, the organizers have the discretion to put in a couple of cars. They put him in, and he's come right from dead last. And he and Bobby Allison are now having a good drafting match to try and pull themselves up to this lead bunch.
Unofficially running in the 20th position. Buddy Arrington's car getting lapped. Once again, you're inside the Daytona 500 live pictures down that back straightaway. Looks like Jeff Bodine's car right behind him. Have another car pulling on pit road.
That's Jody Ridley, car number 84.
Has his own team this year, Jody Ridley. Last year drove the number 90, now being driven by Richard Brooks. Richard Brooks is up to 3rd place at number 90. Richard Brooks, out of retirement from Porterville, California, who drove many years with the Don Levy Racing Team, a Virginia-based organization, doing very well. Jody Ridley is coming back on the track. They will complete 19 laps this time by. 19 complete, 181 laps remaining.
Well, they're certainly setting a cracking pace, and the wind does not seem to have been a problem so far for these cars. They all look pretty stable as they go under the commentary box here through the tri-oval. And if they can have a clean race like this and keep this up much longer, we're going to have the highest speed ever. Richard Petty getting awfully close to the ball there as he goes between turns 3 and 4.
And Richard Brooks has taken over second position. Those fans are going to get a bigger workout training their next year than they would in a tennis match today.
Well, Richard Brooks is driving one of the new Ford Thunderbirds for Junie Dunleavy, who's one of the gentlemen in this racing sport from Richmond, Virginia. And Richard, of course, didn't do much racing last year, so he's a little bit rusty.
In the back straightaway, Kyle Petty has dropped back to third. Joe Ruttman is right there with him in fourth. Neil Bonnet continues to wait in fifth, and now they're battling for the leadership up in front as we go inside another car. There's the battle for the lead, and Richard Brooks is going out in front.
Well, I was just saying he's a little bit rusty, but it's not showing at the moment, is it? He's doing extremely well 4.5 years layoff, coming back here at this super speedway and averaging higher speeds than he's ever averaged here before. Richard Petty hunting third as they come to the stripe. Kyle Petty lying there in third spot.
That is the 7th different driver to lead, and we have just completed the first 20 laps. 50 miles are down, 450 miles to go, and Richard Brooks came on as rookie of the year when he started, had a terrible crash in Talladega, Alabama a few years ago, and won the Grand National race at Talladega. Here's Petty coming back. Petty on the hunt into turn 3, and Kyle Petty right with him. Father and son going into turn number 3, nearly 200 miles an hour. They're averaging out here for those first 10 laps over 191 miles an hour. And of course, they came up from a very slow start, going only about 90 to 100 when they came to the line. Here's Kyle trading sheep a little with Richard Brooks on the outside as they go to the tri-oval.
Kyle and Richard Brooks there really close together through this tri-oval. I bet there wasn't an inch and a half between them.
Kyle Petty on the inside, Richard Brooks on the outside in the blue car. Watching on line 4th is Joe Ruttman. 5th continues to be Bonnet. 6th is Earnhardt, and 7th right now belongs to Cale Yarborough. Here's Richard Petty out in front, fighting with his own son in this race. We asked Richard Petty earlier what it's like racing against your son in this 500.
When I'm on the racetrack or even in the race, then my first concern is not me as much as it is him. You know, if he was another in our car driving with somebody else's name, then I probably wouldn't pay that much attention. But being he is your son, I guess it'd be hard for a father not to have some kind of feelings all the way down the line.
I thought the great line about that was Cale Yarborough's line the other day, David.
Well, yeah, when he was asked how he felt about his son's race, he said, well, all my sons are daughters, so I'm in good shape. But these days of women's lib, you never can be sure. But I'll tell you what, that last lap by Richard Petty was at a cool 194 miles an hour. And just look at the lead he's got by NASCAR standards. That is enormous. It must be all of about 6 car lengths.
Richard Petty has been on a losing streak for 41 straight races. Now he's trying to put it all back together. We'll be back with more live coverage of the Daytona 500 after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
March the 1st, Stewart's Gilman Discount Oldsmobile must pay tax on new Oldsmobiles, luxury vans, and clean used cars left in our inventory. To keep from paying these huge inventory taxes, Stewart's Gilman Oldsmobile is having a tax sale, offering low-rate financing, big trade-in allowances, and discounts up to $4,500. Tax sale ends March the 1st, so see us now. Stewart's Gilman Discount Oldsmobile, US 31 South, just 1/2 mile north of the new Greenwood Park Mall, where it just takes a second to get a second opinion.
Capture the moment, capture the day.
All this week on Indianapolis Afternoon, a special farewell tribute to MASH with exclusive interviews. Tuesday's show will bring you bulletproof clothing. Wednesday, the creator of the legendary TV series. Thursday, Alan Alda talks candidly about life after MASH. And Friday, the final farewell salute to the multi-talented cast. Indianapolis Afternoon, weekdays at 5 on Wish TV.
Capture the moment with us.
Jim Barber and 8 on the Scene Sports tonight at 6.
The leader continues to be Richard Petty in car number 43. One of our camera cars has come on pit road, and the hood is up on car number 27. Tim Richmond's car. Jeff Bodine has also made a stop early. We are at lap 25. They should run to about lap 40 to 43 before they have to come in for fuel. Earnhardt and Kyle Petty have already racked up $7,000 for leading laps 7 and 11. And let's go to Larry Newber in the pits.
Well, Ken, we've been standing by with Dale Lindman, who's crew chiefing for Terry Labonte today. Here's the man who has won more races than any other crew chief in the history of Grand National Racing. Dale, you've come from deep in the pack. Is Terry comfortable?
The car got real loose with us last 2 or 3 laps. I don't know whether we got a tire going down or whether we just need to make some adjustments and try to help him. But he runs pretty good by himself, but when he gets close to a car, he just can't do nothing.
As long as we stay green, will you stay out there and hope for a yellow? As long as we stay green, will you stay out there and hope for a yellow?
Unless he comes in.
Dale Lindman with the man, the youngest man to ever win over $1 million stock car racing.
The problem with coming in, of course, on the green is that you lose so much. You can lose a lap just like that, and they're so hard to get back.
Richard Petty continuing to bust through traffic up in turn 3. Dale Yarborough still stays right in there, running just outside of the top 5. Back in 7th spot at the moment, Dale Yarborough.
Elliot Forbes Robinson's last year's SCCA Trans Am champion was just passed by Cale Yarborough there. It looks like he's heading for the pit road.
Dale Yarborough up to 6 now, just past the Earnhardt car, and there you see him right in front of him, Neil Bonnet in the Warner Hodgson car.
Neil Bonnet, of course, had a great week so far. He's won one of the qualifying races, and he won the Bush Clash, netting himself a fairly substantial amount of money before this race even started.
Now Tim Richmond's car is being rolled back on pit road, and let's go down and get a word with Tim Richmond. Let's go to Larry Newber.
Tim Richmond has been pulled out of this race. The car is being shoved back behind the pit wall. Richmond was running competitively in the lead draft.
He completely cracked ahead.
Tim, what happened?
The car at the start of the race really was going well. You know, the car was working right. We were moving up pretty quick to the front. You know, if things were staying like that all day, I think we had a good shot. But the thing broke ahead, started to crack ahead about 8 laps prior to coming into the pits. And
Tim, earlier this week, we've had a lot of problems with wind gusting on the racetrack, cars getting out of control. Is it more stable out today than it's been earlier this week?
The track today is, you couldn't ask for anything better. All the cars out there seem to be working real well. You know, everybody seems to have their handling on the cars pretty well. And I think if there's not too much attrition, the fans for CBS and here live for the Daytona 500 is going to see the best Daytona 500 they've probably seen. But, you know, like old Milwaukee says, it doesn't get better than this, but I'd rather be out there.
Thanks, Tim. I'm sure the Francis will like it. Even though it's a bad day, it's still better than last year, Ken, when he won the consolation race.
29 laps now complete. Here's the Petty crew. They will be getting ready for a pit stop in approximately 12 to 15 laps.
Well,
if it stays green,
Richard Petty is really pouring on the pressure. He's averaging over 193 miles an hour leading this race, which if he can keep that up for the next hour and a half or 2 hours is going to make the fastest ever Daytona 500. He, in fact, is pulling away from that lead group. The front 3 cars, he and Richard Brooks and his son, Kyle, are pulling away from that second bunch of 4 cars, in which is our camera car and Cale Yarborough.
Completing 30 laps this time by of the 200. It is Petty first, Brooks second, Kyle Petty in third, Bonnet is fourth, and running in fifth, Joe Rutland. And it continues to pull up through. 22 seconds back is car number 44. Terry Labonte, the Billy Hagan car, is really running well. Could come right up through with one caution. He would definitely be in the hunt.
Sat down with mom, talked to dad. Can't get it together, makes you feel sad. You know you can do it, you wonder where. You want it soon because you really care. The services can help you so you not only get better, you really grow. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, they'll make you a man. Responsibility is part of the plan in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Prove you can make it. Prove it to all. Serving your country and walking tall in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You've got it together. They'll see in a glance. Thanks to the services, you got the chance in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
From the dusty deserts of Baja, through the sound barrier, the Budweiser racing teams always play to win.
When America wanted a go-anywhere radial for light trucks, Goodyear came through with the all-season Wrangler.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
The go-anywhere Wrangler. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
Nobody has to tell me to get on the stick. With the wide stick, I don't waste time or money. See, Speed Stick deodorant is so much wider than the other leading stick. Gives you effective protection in just a few strokes. And if you've been using an aerosol, look, you'd use up 2 3-ounce sprays and start a third before you'd use up 1 2.5-ounce Speed Stick. So don't waste time or money.
Get the wide stick for value. Speed Stick deodorant by Menon.
Today, the NCAA basketball action continues on CBS Sports with a battle of the centers as Steve Stepanovich of Missouri take on Ralph Sampson in Virginia today on CBS Sports.
Beginning, A.J. Foyt is just bringing his car onto pit road. The 10th place car, A.J. Foyt is in, and you're watching the Buddy Arrington car. The lone Chrysler in the starting field. Ran most of the races last year and did pretty well. It's an Imperial, no less. Here is Richard Petty's Pontiac up in front.
The weekends he's not racing, he uses it as a local cab.
Lenny Pond coming back on the track. There's A.J. Foyt coming back out. A.J. Foyt pulling back out. Car number 14. And Dale Earnhardt drops onto pit road. Earnhardt, who has been running with the leaders, electing to pit in the 35th lap. Dale Earnhardt, who had been running in 7th position, now in the pits. Richard Petty continues to lead. Richard Brooks, a tremendous surprise in second. Let's go to Larry Newberg.
Dale Earnhardt among the first group of leaders pitting. A.J. Foyt just went by me moments ago. You see the Bud Moore crew doing service on Earnhardt. Remember, this is a guy who's had an up and down month. He crashed earlier in the month, although he won one of the qualifying races earlier this week.
Richard Petty leading. The average speed through the first 30 laps was 192.308. That is not a record. The record is 193.687 by Buddy Baker. When he shattered everything, remember he won the race at 177 mile an hour average. Fastest 500 in history. It could be broken this year.
Boy, oh boy, Jerry Ruttman going through the tri-oval then got very, very loose.
Kyle Petty is on pit road. Kyle Petty and Buddy Baker in the 21 car both in.
And the pole sitter, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, car number 2's coming in, and Lake Speed in the old Udo number 1.
Buddy Baker almost getting tagged as he started to pull out, and Lake Speed was there. Meanwhile, on the track, it looks like Richard Petty is ready to pit. You see him dropping down to the inside. And Petty is ready to bring car number 43 in, and right behind him comes Neil Bonnet. Bonnet is also electing to pit. This happening in lap 36. Scooting down pit road, you see Petty in, and now you see Neil Bonnet coming by. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
The car number 43, they are changing the right side tires and filling it up with gasoline. And Ken, they have a problem with their two-way radio system. They're not able to communicate as they normally would, so they had to put the blackboard out the old-fashioned way to communicate with Richard Petty. Now let's go to Larry Newberg.
Junie Dunleavy, the crew chief for Dick Brooks, waiting for his driver patiently. Now they're getting a little anxious to come in. Joe Ruttman, meanwhile, pulls away just to our left. Rowan, of course, been running in the lead draft. Still waiting for Dick Brooks. Some anxious moments beginning to appear in the faces of this crew here. You would have thought the crew would have been more excited. They are not accustomed to running near the front. Now Dick finally makes his appearance as the light blue nose of the number 90 machine rolls in behind Phil Parsons. The bright orange parka of Junie Dunleavy, the crew chief, moves in the picture as Dick Brooks rolls to a stop. Tire wear yesterday during the late model sportsman race was superb. Interesting to see whether or not they change tires. They are going to change right side rubber on Dick Brooks in the bright yellow helmet as Brooks takes a drink of refreshment for himself, refilling, of course, the fuel, and Brooks is off and away in what appears to be a very fine and efficient pit stop.
He moves around Cale Yarborough's car, also pulling out. Yarborough coming back into it, and all the leaders have stopped. Ron Bouchard made a pit stop, and he overshot his pit. Took him some extra time, and he backed him up. David Pearson is in car number 16, and here comes that number 44. Terry LeBar Monty, who has come all the way from the last row. He had run as high as 19. And we've got one car blowing an engine here. Let's see if that's going to bring out a caution. He's down on the inside. That's Elliott Forbes Robinson. He is driving a car that is entered from the state of Maine by the Bear brothers. They had a car down here for Jeff Bodine a couple of years ago that ran just a few laps and had trouble up in turn number 4 and bounced across the apron. Elliott Forbes Robinson in trouble.
Not sure whether he's blown an engine or blown his... Oh, cracks in the pits. Car number 32 spins in the pits and knocks down... I don't think it knocked anybody down, but that was very lucky.
That was Bosco Lowe. Having trouble as he entered the pit road. He is a rookie driver. Spinning around and crashing on pit road. You can see the safety cruiser there.
Well, let's hope he didn't hit anybody and hope everybody was looking in the right direction when he came in.
Let's take a look at replay here.
He spins under braking, hits the wall there and slides down the wall, and luckily, by the grace of God, no one is standing on the outside of pit wall there. There could have been a crew of people there waiting for their car to come in for a pit stop.
He rode the wall there for a bit, it would seem. There's an entrance there, and he actually got up on the wall of it, right at Kelly Arborough's pits, and also in the pit area of David Pearson.
David Pearson's pit there that was ready for Pearson with the tires out on pit road.
Larry Newber will be trying to get a report.
Bobby Allison's just pulled into pit road.
Let's go quickly to Ned Jarrett.
Ken, it was Bosco Lowe that came sliding down through here. Bosco, what happened there?
I just came in the pits and I got the right rear wheel over in the grass just a little and it got sideways. And I wasn't able to straighten it back up.
You're okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm okay.
Are you going to be able to get back in?
I don't know. It looks like the right rear's messed up. We'll just have to look at it.
You didn't hit anybody as you came down through there, did you? Everybody was out of the way?
Yeah. It wasn't nobody stopped on pit road.
Okay, Ted, I think the only casualty was one of our cameramen, as Red McFadden, our chief crew cameraman here, was backing away from the wall. He hit one of them with the camera, but fortunately he's okay with a little cut on his nose.
It is dangerous down there in the trenches. 41 laps complete. They're rolling back Elliott Forbes Robinson's car, and that will retire.
One of the problems with being in pit road is you must always remember to look at the way the traffic is coming, not where it's just gone. It's so easy to watch your car go by, and you're always then unprotected from the upwind side, I suppose you'd call it.
Extremely fortunate that no one was hurt in that, as that car spun and so many people in that pit area. That's one of the reasons why they try to contain those pit areas to just those working crewmen. Richard Petty is in front. Richard Brooks has sustained second place. Joe Rutman is in third. Neil Bonnet is in fourth, and Dale Earnhardt is in fifth. Those are the front five with 42 laps complete. Let's go to Larry Newber.
Some 20 laps ago, one of our front row starters, Jeff Bodine, put himself at a tremendous disadvantage for the rest of the race. He lost a lap in the first 100 miles of this event. The reason? A chassis problem, and I would suggest that it was a major chassis adjustment that they needed. You see how this tire is peeled? Believe it or not, Bodine was out racing on the Speedway trying to go 190 miles per hour on this right front tire. Not a very safe condition.
That is for sure. He obviously had the wrong weight jack in the chassis. At least these NASCAR cars, they're very easily adjustable in the pits. That's why you see these guys, the mechanics, lean in the window or under the hood, and they can adjust the weight across the corner of these cars, which takes away that sort of problem.
We have a new record at 40 laps as we're inside of Kaylee Arborough's car. We have a new record at 193.133 miles per hour. And there you see Cale about to put a lap on Darrell Waltrip. Now, Waltrip has gone a lap down to those leaders. Here are those cars working out there. The old record was 180.180, Buddy Baker, back in 1980, and now the record is up to 193.133 miles per hour. That was through lap number 40, the first 100 miles. Petty stays in front. Kaylee Yarborough has just put a lap on the Junior Johnson car number 11. Darrell Waltrip, who has never won the Daytona 500, continuing to have his problems out there. Doesn't look good for him today. This pace has set him back. Somehow the number 44 car has stayed in the hunt, trying not to go a lap down.
Well, I think it would be true to say, after looking at Jeff Bodine's tire, that they are in fact setting quite a blistering pace.
working the 45th lap at the present time. Well, make no mistake about it. Back in 1979, Richard Petty had lost a ton of races, over 40. Then came in here and won the Daytona 500, some say by fluke, when the two leaders, Allison, Donnie, and Cale Yarborough, crashed. Now he's on a 41 race losing streak, and he's coming back better and stronger than ever in 43. Here's Larry Newman.
Well, I'm standing between Junior Johnson and Doug Rickert, the two people on the radio to Darrell Waltrip. There's a lot of head scratching going on down here, Ken, David, and Ned. They say that Darrell has said nothing to them. They don't know if it's an engine problem. They don't know if they've got a chassis adjustment they need to make. I asked Doug and Junior both, do you need a yellow? Doug said, I think we need more than a yellow. But there has been no communication from Darrell as of yet. Ned Jarrett?
Well, Larry, there was one more minor casualty in that skirmish when Bosco Lowe slid down pit road. One of the still photographers here in the pits, his leg was injured. The emergency medical team was right on the scene here, and they are administering to him right now. But other than that, everything is okay as far as that particular situation is concerned.
Another car in the pits, and it's the DK Ulrich car in for another time. That is Sauter, the Wisconsin driver, having his problems today. It is 1 2/10 of a second by which Richard Petty now leads in his quest for an 8th unprecedented Daytona 500 victory.
What makes Pontiac 6000 the new rival to the world's great road cars? Let us count the ways. Front-wheel drive, electronic fuel injection, rack and pinion steering, McPherson front struts, high-tech engineering, European styling. It all adds up to 6,000. Pontiac 6000. And the excitement multiplies. Pontiac, we build excitement.
Most guys spend Sunday taking it easy. Not me. When I'm racing the Bandit, there's no taking it easy. So I'm out here early before a race trying to relax. Just me and my scope. Just a pinch gives me real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. And that wintergreen flavor's a real winner.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes.
Well, moms and dads the world around give their kids the same old sound. Got to go to school, be a big success. They wouldn't settle for anything less. Now they've learned whatever you seek, you'll help yourself to reach your peak. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Need a trade? Looking for a skill? They have hundreds to fit the bill. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Want more school? Don't have the bread. They'll help pay to get you ahead. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Mom and dad, they'll want to shout. He's made it big. There's no doubt. Thanks, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Poor starts, stalling, gas line freeze. Plain gas line antifreeze often isn't enough. Get STP gas treatment. It works 3 ways to tune up your gas. STP gas treatment surrounds water and removes it. Unlike plain gas antifreeze, it also helps clear the entire fuel system and cleans the carburetor for better mileage. Satisfaction guaranteed. Don't get stopped cold. Use STP gas treatment regularly and tune up your gas.
A cloud of smoke has darkened this beautiful day in Daytona for Richard Petty. Something amiss in the engine. The car now slowing down and about to pull onto pit road. There you see the entrance to pit road. Richard Petty is just about there. He is idling his way down. You can see the engine begin to expire up here on the banking.
Well, he's been setting a fan, and there he goes behind the wall, so that does not look good at all.
Kyle Petty, his son, is now running in the 9th position. There are 15 cars running in the lead lap as we come to lap number 50. There is the new leader, Richard Brooks. There is a black flag, a consultation flag up for car number 17, Sterling Marlin, in the Roger Hamby car, we understand. But the major story of the moment, the 7-time winner, Richard Petty, is out of the race as the Vice President, George Bush, looks on in here to watch his second Daytona 500. Here's the field moving down out of the 4th turn again, and then through the tri-oval comes Richard Brooks. car number 90, and he is being challenged. Number 75, the white and maroon car. Those used to be the Wood Brothers colors. And when they changed teams, Raymock Racing, Warner Hodgson took those colors along. Buddy Baker now with the Wood Brothers black, white, and red colors this year. There is Richard Brooks, your leader, and here comes Neil Bonnet, who won the Flash and won one of the 125-mile qualifying races right here going into turn number 3, David. He just shot down the inside.
Right from that position, Neil Bonnet has won 2 races this week. There's a fair way to go in this race yet, but he still could pull it off. But there's a lot of competitive cars still on this same lap. And with Richard Petty setting that incredible pace gone, we may see this field bunch up quite a bit more, and this race will become yet again very competitive.
Joe Ruttman lies 3rd on the field. Joe Ruttman stays right in there in 3rd. The 4th position is now Dale Earnhardt. 5th position is Bill Elliott. Cale Yarborough back at 6. Car smoldering, blowing up, going down into turn 1 and out of control. Spinning, sliding. Phil Parsons is out of control, and let's see if it's going to bring out the first caution of the day. Phil Parsons in car number 66, the younger brother of Benny Parsons, making his first Daytona 500-mile start. Looked like something was amiss early on it. He may have had an engine come and go, or it could have been tire smoke. As we looked up, we saw him across the grass, just past the entrance from pit road back onto the track, sliding out of control. He's gathered it up, but a moment for him, put his heart in his throat, has brought out the first caution of the day.
Now this, of course, with the NASCAR rules as they are, we'll have that caution car out for probably 3 or 4 laps. Some of those racing drivers are running a bit slower than we expected. It gives them an opportunity now to retune their cars. On a green pit stop, of course, you just don't have time to do it. But now you've got a little bit of time, and you can, in fact, retune these cars.
In replay, David Hobbs.
It looks from that as if he just lost it coming off the tri-oval, which I had thought would be the tricky part today, but that doesn't seem to have caught many people out. He goes across the road course there. He's very lucky, of course, that the car didn't do what Cale Yarborough's did the other day, get air underneath it and flip it over like a leaf. And, of course, on that wet, still wet grass, he's got no hope of collecting that up.
All the leaders are pitting. Leaders are pitting, and let's go back to the trenches in Jarrett.
Ken, we're in the garage area. Richard Petty has just crawled out of the car number 43. What went wrong, Richard?
Well, the bearings went out of it again, Ned. I guess it looked like we're starting all about the same as we ended up last year. The car run good, and then, you know, it can't run without a motor.
And we thought before the race that you were the sick one, but it wound up being the car.
Well, I got the feeling pretty good, and the car got the feeling pretty good until I think both of us got sick down the first corner.
Well, we're sorry to see you out of it, but I know that you'll be back again.
We'll be back.
Okay, 7-time champion, Richard Petty. Let's go to Larry Newber.
The most successful of the new teams of 1983 has been the Hodgson team. They've won twice down here already this month. Certainly with an experienced driver, Neil Bonnet, one of the Hueytown gang. They made a very regular pit stop for them under the caution flag. They've been able to stay on the lead lap all day long, and looking at all the faces here in the area, Butch Mock, Barbara Hilley, the people who were with this team a year ago before Warner Hodgson came in, they look pretty confident right now, Ken and David.
50 laps in, a quarter of the distance run, 125 miles down, and we have a record for that distance. An average speed of 188.917 miles per hour, and the record book will show Richard Brooks is the man who did it here in 1983, breaking the record of 1978 from Richard Petty, which stood at 179.569. Another new record here in this Daytona 500. This one at the quarterway mark goes to Richard Brooks.
Well, this caution flag, of course, will probably upset that, but he could still stay within the record as long as they don't keep the caution car out too long.
All right, let's see if we can get a word from Cale Yarborough. Cale, can you hear us? Ken Squire in the CBS booth.
It's affirmative, Ken. I hear you.
How's it going out there?
Well, it's been a pretty good race so far, a pretty clean race. I've had a little bit of problem with my car. Got a little loose to begin with, but I believe we got it nailed down pretty good now.
What's the wind doing to you?
Well, the wind's blowing and gust every now and then. It's catching you and moving the car around a little bit, but it's not real bad.
Well, as you line up, I see number 98, Ruttman's right in front of you. You're going to try to gun him down immediately. You're going to hold and float with him.
Well, I'm going to try to take the lead for a little while now. I've been sitting back a little bit, and I need to see what I can do.
You're fourth right now, Cale. You're going to go for the lead on the restart.
Well, we're going to go for it as soon as we can get it. I don't know whether I can do it the first lap or not, but we're going for it.
Well, we'll be with you.
Okay.
Cale Yarborough in fourth position as we get ready for a restart. Up in front is Richard Brooks. Stand by for the assault on first place.
Look what we've done with Ramada. We're filled with things that are new. Now we're classy, stylish, a special place, a delightful escape for you. Ramada, we've got a new world for you. And still priced right. Look what we've done with Ramada. We've got a new world for you.
Now from Radio Shack, the computer experts, the new 80K TRS-80 Model 12. Notice the easy-to-read green screen.
It'll do our accounting.
Our disk stores over 1 million characters, about 4 times more than others, and it has incredible expandability. It'll do our word processing.
And filing.
Even planning and projections.
That's all it costs?
We call it getting the most for your money. The TRS-80 Model 12 from $31.99, only at Radio Shack and Radio Shack Computer Centers, the computer experts.
When America wanted a high-mileage radial that could track through rain and snow, Goodyear came through with Arriva.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
Arriva, the all-season radial. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
This Bud's for that first day on the job.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
CBS Sports Special is sponsored by Goodyear, makers of Arriva, the all-season radio. Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. And by the 1983 Honda motorcycles, engineered performance for over 20 years.
You are now in the control tower live with Bill Gazaway, the race director for NASCAR. We've had all kinds of record shattering over the first 55 laps. Here's Phil Parsons from just a moment ago coming in. He had ground down the front end of his automobile. A right front tire had disintegrated on him. And Phil Parsons, the younger brother of Benny Parsons, not having the best of all days, David.
Now we had a nasty heart-stopping spin coming out of the tri-oval and must have spun for about 2,000 feet. And now he's getting the car fixed right.
Understand there may be some driver changes. Let's go to Ned Jarrett for that story.
Well, Ken, there really have been a lot of driver changes since the last race last November on the Grand National Circuit. And one of those was Buddy Baker going with the car number 21, the Wood brothers. They've had several top drivers. They're past winners here at Daytona with that car number 21. And sometimes you wonder why a team might choose a particular driver. And such was the case when the Wood brothers named Buddy Baker. Really, it shocked the people in the racing world. They didn't see that as a likely marriage. You got to get everything together. You got to have the right chemistry, so they say. The driver has to be able to communicate well with the team, and everybody just has to gel together before they can put forth a winning effort. And some people didn't see that in this particular team. But when you look at the fact that the Wood brothers' strong suit in the past has been on super speedways, Buddy Baker's strong suit has been on super speedways. So you put that together, and it is a likely marriage. And then also the Wood brothers like to set the car up the way they want it. They don't care about much input from the driver as far as the chassis setup is concerned. Buddy Baker has never claimed to know a whole lot about the chassis of an automobile, so he just gets out there and drives it. So there again, that makes for a likely marriage, and we can see by their performance here today that it's working well in their first race. Now, Larry Newber has some views on another driver change.
Well, Ned, Neil Bonnet is the kind of guy who likes to give a lot of input. He spent quite a number of years as an apprentice on the short tracks in Alabama, more than 10 years of putting together his own race cars, taking it home at night and rebuilding it after crashes. And he was a little unhappy with the setup that he had a year ago. He didn't feel comfortable enough in the race car because he simply didn't have as much input on the setup as he would have preferred. He comes to a team that was reconstructed over the winter, and the cross-pollination is kind of interesting. If you're a long-time follower of NASCAR racing, you recognize that lower half white-painted race car with the red roof and the gold or silver foil number. Winter Hodgson, as we go back under green and the field powers up again.
We have a new leader.
Of course, feels very comfortable with the colors. He likes the tradition that the red and white color combination has brought to Grand National Race Car, and he stayed with it. Back up to Ken and David.
We have a new leader. It is Bill Elliott. He's been here 4 previous occasions. Bill Elliott, he's never won a Grand National race, second 5 times. Here he is in the back straightaway. Was second in the World 600 at Charlotte a year ago, trying to keep that Ford up in front, but here comes Joe Ruttman in number 98, and here's one having a little trouble. That is Harry Gant, car number 33, winner of 2 races a year ago. He was on pit road when the race started. You can hear from the sound there that all is not good for the Bandit today.
I think he'll be going around slowly and pulling back into the pits. He's obviously only on 6 or 7 cylinders at the most. Joe Ruttman takes the lead away from Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott did an extremely fast time in qualifying, had only finished up 9th in his qualifying race, which got him solidly in the field, but he has been running very quickly this week.
So Bill Elliott falls back, and there goes Cale Yarborough to the inside to challenge for second position. At 190 miles an hour, back straight away.
Well, we know that Cale Yarborough is going to try and go for the lead because he's already just told us that, personally, out of that car.
Also getting back up in the hunt, car number 90. Richard Brooks. Boy, he has been the surprise in the early going in our live coverage of the Daytona 500. The junior Don Levy car has never looked better than it does right now. That car won a race with Jody Ridley in Dover, Delaware a couple of years back. Looks like it could do it again today. Now, no, oh, they touch, they hit, they square off and bang each other going into turn number 1 as Richard Brooks took the lead. That was incredible. He and number 98 wrinkling fenders at 190 miles an hour. Joe Ruttman and Richard Brooks, an old-fashioned half-mile ding-dong.
Both of them from California, and I'd seen Joe Ruttman go through that similar sort of spot earlier on. His car looked loose then. Maybe it still is, but boy, that was a very, very close call, because these cars weighing 4,000 pounds at that sort of speed, they're awfully hard to get back if they get too far out of shape.
Start muscling those leaders, and you have a 15-car freight train that could pile up right behind you. Ruttman now in front. And look out, here comes Earnhardt. He shoots up through. Earnhardt into second place in the shuffle. Let's take a look at that moment again out of the tri-oval area.
And Dick Brooks is on the high side. Joe Ruttman down there running low, and Joe Ruttman just moves up there and just tags the back of Dick Brooks and almost puts himself and Brooks off the track.
Earnhardt goes for the lead. Earnhardt into first. Brooks going to second, and on the bottom side, here's Cale Yarborough going to third. Cale Yarborough pulling up, and from the Goodyear blimp, you see Cale Yarborough just into third.
You see, Joe, you see how Cale Yarborough slipped between Brooks and Ruttman. I think Ruttman was trying to slip behind Brooks that last time, just slightly misjudged it and tagged him. Boy, that was horrible.
Largest crowd to ever witness the Daytona 500, certainly the largest for a stock car race, perhaps the largest in the history of the Southeast. And there you see that freight train. You really get the feeling for just how big that draft is. All chugging along at well over 190 miles per hour. And there is the blimp with our cameraman George Nader developing for you those amazing pictures as we have another battle down that long back straightaway going into turn number 3 for the lead.
And Cale Yarborough's there in third spot.
Coming up to
second spot, Cale Yarborough, behind Dick Brooks. Now he's probably going to make that charge for the lead he was telling us about a moment ago. And here we see it from inside the car. What a fantastic shot as he comes into this grandstand area across the tri-oval.
Cale Yarborough told you he was going to try to go for the lead. Here you are riding with a 2-time Daytona champion. Looks on the inside, can't get through. Buffeting around in there, Cale Yarborough fighting to win this race for a 3rd time. Richard Brooks trying to win it for the 1st time.
And there you see a classic drafting slingshot. Comes up on Dick Brooks as they come off the banking, pulls alongside him, and his momentum carries him past. And here's Cale Yarborough in the camera car leading the Daytona 500.
Clear sailing up in front of car number 28, as you saw, as you witnessed from the driver's seat. It is Cale Yarborough in the lead. Rutland into second, dropping to third is Richard Brooks. What a surprising float engine on Earnhardt. Earnhardt expires right in the tri-oval. Big cloud of smoke. He's up against the wall, trying to whoa it. Yellow is out. Caution is on the track, second time. Oh, talk about a moment. The fourth place car, Dale Earnhardt in the Bud Moore Ford. Remember that Bud Moore won this race with Bobby Allison. Looked like they were going to bundle the field up. All the action is right up among those leaders. Busting down the back straightaway, they're coming around. They have to race back to the line. And Richard Brooks wants to be out in front as he comes to the stripe.
But only some people seem to be racing.
Here's Richard Brooks coming down the line, and here's one car trying to get in front of him. Oh, in trouble.
That's Darrell Waltrip.
It is Waltrip. Out of control. He slams the wall.
He's
Under caution. He almost nails Yarborough. I don't understand. He may have been trying to make up a lap.
I think he was trying to make up a lap.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Darrell Waltrip was trying to make up a lap.
And so was Lake Speed in the number 1 car. Lake Speed was the one who set all that off. Cale Yarborough and the other 3 guys had decided to settle for their positions as they came round to the flag, but the heroes running a lap down had decided to make it back.
Let's talk to Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough, can you hear us?
I hear you, Ken. Go ahead.
Looked like that. Did you think that a number 11 car was going to take you out?
I didn't miss him by about an inch. That was mighty close.
Have you ever had one closer that you got away from?
I don't think so. That's pretty close, Ken.
What happened out there, Cale? It looked like you had slowed down and they were trying to make up a lap.
Yeah, I slowed down, and I don't know what happened to Waltrip. He was on the straightaway here and just turned sideways. I don't really know what happened.
We're taking a look in replay right now at what happened, and he actually came off too hot. He tried to miss Richard Brooks, hit the brakes. Brooks was directly in front of him. The car lifts.
The guy that caused all the trouble there basically was Lake Speed, though, who got in front, who came down under Dick Brooks, pushed him way up, which probably caused Richard Brooks to lift out. Darrell Waltrip was catching Richard Brooks hand over fist, and suddenly the track's all blocked.
But that's that old business about racing back to the line again, David.
Exactly. I just cannot see the sense in it. I really can't. I've said it before, and the NASCAR officials argue, and to me, it's a totally erroneous way to go about things.
Darrell Waltrip is still in car number 11. He has taken an awful hard hit. Bobby Allison crashed there a few days ago. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Ken, as you can see from the right side of that car, it is really banged up on both ends. Part of his crew members are out there now, along with the paramedics, to get Darrell out of the car. Of course, he's sitting still on part of the racetrack, so it's very smart for him not to get out while the cars are still out there, even though they have slowed down.
The defending national champion, winner of 12 Grand National races last year. Out of control, out of turn number 2. You could see him hit the binders. He did not want to take out Richard Brooks, and he was trying to avoid him, and the car broke away. It slid down through. That's that business of running back to the flag. The leaders had all slowed down to hold positions. Lake Speed in the Haas Ellington car number 1. He and Waltrip elected to try to make up a lap, and here we are.
At this stage of the game, any safety crews that are going to get any driver out of the car are going to put a neck brace on the driver before they remove him from the car in case there's a fracture there, or to try and hold his head steady while they get him out of the car. I think we're going to have to go back to when Dale Earnhardt had the problem, and if we follow the lap around there, we can see exactly what happened on the back straight. It confused me a bit watching it for the first time, but on the second replay, if we have a look at it later on, we can see just what exactly happened. The 3 leaders did in fact back right out of it, and they were suddenly passed by people who were a long way behind.
We can look again at a replay of what happened here. I believe lap 64 is the mark.
See, Lake Speed actually has come from nowhere. He moves up in front of Brooks, who I'm sure lifts out of it, and Darrell, who is right behind Brooks, has absolutely got nowhere to go. Brooks was...
I do believe that number 90 had slowed down considerably by that time anyway. I just think they were both trying to find some holes and getting back to the line. That's what happened. Darrell Waltrip, who has been racing here since...
This is the lucky bit right here. Look at this as he slides up right under our camera car. I mean, to get that car back from that angle, Cale Yarborough's arms must have been just going like a one-armed paper hanger in a gale. I can tell you, just a lot of action going on in there.
And just as fortunate was Joe Ruttman in the 98.
Right behind him, yeah.
I mean, he was simply
close.
blessed. There was no maneuver he could make. All he could do was take the deep breath and pray that it didn't collect him. 1973 was when Darrell Waltrip first came to Daytona, and he has never won this race. Of course, he was second here in that dramatic finish when Richard Petty won in 1979, but he has had a disastrous crash, wicked-looking thing, in turn number 4. That has collected several cars. It took one of the sportsman cars yesterday and tore it up and flipped it over 2 or 3 times, and it's right where Bobby Allison ended the clash a week ago. Allison driving with his ribs all taped up today, still trying to remove Darrell Waltrip, defending national champion, from car number 11. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Standing by with Dale Earnhardt, who was just out of the race. Dale, first tell us your problems, and then we're going to look at a replay of that accident and get your views on it.
Well, my problem was the bearings come out of the engine, I reckon. You know, it started smoking there, and I cut it off, so I reckon that's what happened to it. It was just the engine problems. They didn't throw any oil out, I don't believe.
Okay, here's the replay now of the accident that involved Darrell Waltrip as he came around.
He looks like he just dodged and missed Brooks when Brooks got out of the gas, and he was had his momentum up and lost the car. That's a pretty bad crash when you hit the wall right there going fast as he was.
Do you think it had anything to do with the oil or anything that you might have put on the track?
I don't think there was no oil down. I was, you know, like I say, out of the throttle and run along there pretty smooth, and I don't think no oil come out of my car right there. It smoked on down the straightaway, whereas it started smoking. It was still running at that point for the flag.
Well, here's the wreckers as they are hooking up, and the paramedics out there, of course, as they're attending to Darrell Waltrip. Back to you, Ken.
The oil from the Earnhardt engine came after the start-finish line. He did not blow till he was right at the start-finish line, and this shunt started way up.
He did a great job, too, because he stayed right up close to the wall to try and keep out of everybody else's way. And the guy that was behind him, I don't even know who was exactly right behind him at the time, but he must have had a really hard stopper as well.
Well, the Franklin, Tennessee driver, Darrell Waltrip, has been removed from his car and is now being taken to the field hospital here at the Daytona International Speedway. The driver, who's won $3,488,000, will not come up with any dollars today for the effort in this 500-mile event. We'll be back with more live coverage of the Daytona 500 after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
It's Block's President's Birthday Sale with exceptional savings throughout the store. Like 25% off Mrs. Famous Maker Coordinates. 22% savings on a spring selection of Mrs. Suits, now just $69.99. Save 20 to 30% on designer sweaters for men. Save $100 to $300 on Fisher stereos for your home. Your choice, just $349.99. And don't miss Monday-only specials during our President's Birthday Sale. Now through Monday only at Block's.
Mr. Jordan, we got a problem. Problem? Big, small, in-between packages all have to be delivered tomorrow morning. No problem, Henry. All? On time? On time. Sure. Emery.
Emery AM. Only Emery AM service schedules delivery of virtually any size shipment to most of America the next morning.
No more problem. For sure.
Use Emery AM service. Any size on time. For sure.
Ed Harding and 8 on the Scene Sports, weeknights.
Okay, tell me when. 69 laps will be completed this time by. There will be 131 laps to go in the event. We are 172.5 miles down. I have the opportunity to talk to Cale Yarborough again. Their crew chief has allowed us to come on here for a moment. Cale? On this restart, you now lie second, and Joe Ruttman is in front of me. Can you read me?
10-4, I'll read you loud and clear.
Okay, will you take an immediate shot, a slingshot coming out of the tri-oval to get him? You're going to wait on him a little.
Well, I'll have to wait and see what it looks like, but I'm going to try to go back to the lead as quick as possible.
Cale, were you near the incident with 90 and 28 actually touched coming out of the tri-oval? I thought you were right in there with them.
Yeah, I saw that. That was mighty close.
Now, is that car right in front of you, 98, really loose out there? What do you think?
Well, he was loose early in the race, but looks like he's got it tightened up a little bit now. But you know, some of these guys are racing like it's their last lap.
Thank you, Cale. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Ken, we're standing by with Hall of Fame member Junior Johnson, who owns the car that Darrell Waltrip just had the tremendous accident in. Junior, you just walked out of the hospital. You had talked with Darrell?
Well, Jeff had talked with him. He was at the car, and I was with Stevie here in the hospital. And Jeff said he said, tell Stevie I'm all right. I've just shook up a little bit. And they're just taking him in there now to check him out, and I'm sure that he feels all right, or he wouldn't tell her that.
Junior, you have any idea what happened? Was he trying to get back in the lead lap, or what it was?
I don't have any idea. The only time that I, when I seen the car, it was already spinning, and we had no communications with him as far as talking to him afterwards, so I don't know what happened.
Well, we're sorry to see that the car is torn up. We're happy to hear that at least he has been talking to some of the crew members.
Thank you.
Well, it's good to know that...
Now let's go to Larry Newber on pit road.
Ned, very close to being involved in that incident was Dick Brooks, who's been up front all day. Now, his crew does not know whether or not he touched Darrell. There is damage to the side of the race car, the left side of the race car, but as reported a couple of laps earlier, Brooks was racing with quite a number of drivers, so they believe that the damage occurred when the incident with Waltrip, but they're not sure. Dick Brooks has been on the radio with Junie Dunleavy saying, I hear nothing rubbing. I think we are in good shape. One comment about tires. During their last caution stop, they changed all 4 tires. Now, it was not an indication of having problems with tire wear. As a matter of fact, to describe what one of the crew members called the condition of the tire wear, it's gorgeous. We'll see the tires they took off during the last caution on this car again later in the race.
So Darrell Waltrip is all right. Appears to be okay. Let's take a look at the attrition rate. There are now 8 cars, including Darrell Waltrip, retired from the event. And they include Earnhardt and Gant and Petty. A lot of the super names here. This could be the day of the upset. Richard Brooks is certainly proving that. I think Richard Brooks had a little problem with 98 to mess that car up. We've got another smoker going down into turn number 1. We are still under caution from this heavy wreck that we had coming out of turn number 4. That car number 90 running in 3rd place. Richard Brooks could be a real factor before it's over.
Well, sick old Junie Dunleavy. Chewing his cigars like he's never chewed him before. He must be absolutely ecstatic.
Consultation flag coming out, and I think it will be out for the Roger Hamby car that is being driven by Columbia, Tennessee's Sterling Marlin in this race. Well, now you see the leaders. That number 98 is actually a leader, and there's the consultation flag victim, number 17. His father was Cuckoo Marlin, the well-known and famed alfalfa farmer of Columbia, Tennessee, David.
Alfalfa, pretty good for Sunday afternoon. He's been in before, actually, with the caution flags, a black flag, so I guess there's got an oil leak or something which they don't like on that car.
22 lead changes among 9 drivers thus far in our live flag-to-flag coverage of the $1 million 25th annual Daytona 500.
My music keeps me going in more ways than one. If I'm not riding a concert, I'm flying to one. So I really appreciate relaxing. Just me and my Skoal. Skoal's wintergreen flavor is #1 with me. Just a pinch gives me real tobacco pleasure without lighting up anytime, anywhere.
Mr. Daniels, smoking or non-smoking?
Smokeless, darling.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes.
A motorcycle built just for yourself. A powerful V-twin. Liquid cooling. Shaft drive. A teardrop tank. And a radical set of pipes. Now, all you need is a name. The Shadow from Honda.
When his client told him, give me that package overnight or else, I told him use express mail next day service from the post office. Is it fast, he said? Overnight, I said. Reliable, he said. They deliver over 70,000 packages on time every day, I said. And a 2-pound package is $9.35, about half what most others charge. Yes? It's your client. He says he got it. And you're brilliant.
What would you do without me?
Express mail service. We make you look good for less.
The company that has sparked more engines than any other company in the world introduces another first. Guaranteed performance. If you don't agree that fresh Champion spark plugs make your car run better, return the plugs to Champion within 60 days, and we'll give you your money back. So no matter what kind of car you drive, get guaranteed performance from Champion, because nothing sparks like a Champion. Guaranteed.
When
Thursday, John Denver hosts the 25th Anniversary Grammy Awards, the music event of the year, with 25 years of legends and superstars. A 3-hour extravaganza Wednesday.
We are still waiting a hospital report on Darrell Waltrip, who has crashed in this 25th running of the Daytona 500. Severe damage, destroying his Chevrolet Monte Carlo as he came off the 4th turn. The field under caution. He appeared to be making up a lap. And again, let's look at an earlier replay that we have from another view, and I think it will demonstrate that the problem of oil did not exist. Here is Cale Yarborough's car in the previous lap, and right behind him you see the Joe Ruttman car.
And there, just coming into the picture on the left, is Dale Earnhardt, and there coming out the back of Dale Earnhardt is a large amount of his engine.
And that's just when the engine blew, right there at the start-finish line.
It blew just coming out of the tri-oval. Dale Earnhardt stays right up close to the wall, keeping out of everybody's way. And it brought out a caution, which ultimately was the seemed to be the cause of the accident.
They are working on the fence, that fence that is the cushion retainer. It took a lot of damage down there the other day, is being worked on again, and we'll tell you a bit more about it in a moment. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Harry Gant had just pulled into the garage area. He drives the Hal Needham Burt Reynolds car. Just before all of this started happening, Harry, what went wrong with your car?
Well, when we made our pit stop, the car started getting hot, so we made another lap around the racetrack, and they tried to put water in. We found out there's a bolt went through the radiator from off another car, so it lost the water and it cracked the head.
Ken, it doesn't take much to put one of these $60,000 machines out.
71 laps are complete, 129 to go, and there is the repair work. And for a moment we might discuss with you the cushion that is there. When they hit that wall, that is not just a slab of concrete, but there is a cushion to help take some of the momentum, some of the G-force out of those cars, but you can't take out very much.
Well, of course, on the outside of that concrete, it's an earth retaining wall with a concrete wall on the outside, and alongside that is a guardrail, steel guardrail. You can just see the end of it sticking out there. And that, you know, gives about 4 or 5 inches, 6 inches, and of course at those sort of speeds it's not much, but every bit counts when you're going to hit walls like that. But it needs repairing, because if it's jagged and broken, and if anybody else hits it, of course it'll be 10 times worse than not having it there at all.
Let's get an update now on the condition of Darrell Waltrip.
Ken, we just talked to one of his crew members who came out of the hospital, and he had talked with him, Jeff Hammond, and said that he's okay. They are going to take Darrell to the Halifax Hospital here in Daytona to do chest x-rays just as a precautionary measure. But they say that he's okay, and of course we are sure that he's going to be a sore individual by tomorrow.
Well, that's good news for racing fans everywhere. He's a highly controversial figure, but there isn't one race fan that wants to see a driver get banged up, no matter how they feel about him as a racer. 72 laps complete, and there you see 9 leaders, 22 lead changes, and the speed, well, that's moved down. We have an old record of 168 miles an hour, and now we're at 156, so the chance of the fastest 500 seems to be going away.
Create a car to conquer the wind. A car that lets you slip off the commonplace and experience driving excitement as never before. The Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Sit here and learn firsthand how Firebird conquers the wind and the world. Pontiac, we build excitement.
The Florida Keys and Milwaukee, Wisconsin are a whole country apart. But to these guys, they both mean something great. The Keys mean stone crab, big and fresh. And Milwaukee means beer, cold, crisp, old Milwaukee. And the smooth, golden light taste of old Milwaukee Light. And man, what they made for food like this. And old Milwaukee. And old Milwaukee Light.
Tastes as great as its name.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Today, the NCAA basketball action continues on CBS Sports with a battle of the centers as Steve Stepanovich in Missouri take on Ralph Sampson in Virginia today on CBS Sports.
Once again, we're inside the second place automobile in the Daytona 500, Cale Yarborough, number 28. Cale, they've just been reviewing some of the tapes, and they have just found some pictures of just how close from your in-car camera you came to getting tagged by that spinning Darrell Waltrip car. I got to tell you, that was closer than any of us thought. We're looking at it now, and Cale, it looks like he missed your rear quarter panel by a matter of inches as you sailed past him there.
Well, I knew it was close, Ken. You know, that's you can't second guess things like that. And had I backed out of it or hit the brakes, I think I'd have been right into it. So I couldn't second guess myself. I just went on through.
What do you do when you see a car in trouble in front of you usually? Do you try to go for where it is or where it's not?
Well, I tried to go for where it was not that time, but I didn't have much room. The wall was on the outside of me.
Basically, though, don't you try to go right for it and hope that it's gone away by then?
Well, if it's happening in a corner and you come up on it, usually if you would aim right at it, he would be gone before you got there. But at these speeds, it's kind of like a bullet, Ken. You better not aim too close at it. You might hit him.
Any problems with the car thus far?
Well, the car's working real well. I'm real pleased with everything right now. Everything looks real good. We just hope it can stay this way for the rest of the race, and I think we got a good shot at it.
How do you feel? Does the temperature go up in the car? You just have to idle it around like this?
Well, it's cooled off a little bit. I'm putting my hand out the window and getting a little bit of fresh air, but it's hotter in the car today than I thought it was going to be, so it's pretty warm.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with us again, Cale.
Okay, Ken.
Yeah, you can see his hand on the windowsill there. They just ducked a little bit of air into the cars because on these pace laps, of course, it's the only time the drivers get a chance to cool off. When you're racing, you get extremely hot, but your concentration's up so much you don't feel hot, because as soon as you slow down, that's when you start feeling hot, even though you are, in fact, cooling off.
This has been an incident-strewn wreck at the Daytona International Speedway. Let's take a look now at a couple of the incidents from the 125-mile qualifying races this past Thursday here. Of course, the story which has made all the national news wires is the story of Indianapolis, Indiana's Bruce Jacoby. Here was his car. He'd been running well back in the field, out of control, taking these vicious, hard, terrorizing sidewinders out of the second corner. Car 30 or 35 feet in the air. Bruce Jacoby's car destroyed. It started well back in the field and was trying to work his way up when his car came to that end. He is in critical condition, still unconscious in the hospital. Now watch this. Number 72, Rusty Wallace in front. Rick Wilson in second. Richard Petty in third. All of a sudden, the front two cars touch. Richard Petty finds the hole, got on the binders just a little. But for the former USAC champion, Rusty Wallace, right here, it was all over. From another angle. Watch them come into your picture from the right. Sailing upside down the wrong way, and then those vicious
snap roll. The car flies one way because the air gets under it, starts to rotate the car one way. As soon as it hits the ground, it changes direction.
Rusty Wallace was out of the hospital the next day. One lap and they will be going, and again, Rusty Wallace was all right after that crash. Let's go to Larry Newber.
Ken, it was inevitable. The age of computers was going to come to Grand National Stock Car Racing. You're looking at a computer in the pit area of Joe Ruttman on the point right now. Barry Green is at the controls. Barry, what are you monitoring?
We're working on this computer to show our gas mileage, and we calculate miles per gallon at race speed and miles per gallon at caution speed. And in each lap, we can keep track of how many miles per gallon they've gone, how many gallons are left in the car, and how many laps you can go at either race speed or caution speed down to a decimal.
How's Joe doing? Normally these cars will go about 100 miles on a load.
He's doing very good. We're getting about 4.60 miles per gallon at race speed and 8.5 at caution speed right now.
Joe Ruttman continues to lead with the computer. Ned Jarrett.
Well, meanwhile, in the Kyle Petty pits, they're anxious for the race to be restarted again. It will be restarted very quickly. Kyle has a new look on his car this year, a complete new concept for that part of the Petty racing team. He's separated from his dad, Richard. They're both out of the same garage under the same roof, but they're definitely separated by a partition. They think that that concept will let them do better this year, and it's showing up here already in the first race under that concept for 1983. So this crew, a young crew headed up by Mike Beam, is ready for the rest of the challenge of this Daytona 500.
Let's get back into the race now. 75 laps have been completed. 125 to go. The leader is Joe Ruttman. Cale Yarborough lies second. Richard Brooks is in third. And what a story. Bobby Allison in number 22. New livery on that car, new colors, new sponsor. He's up to fourth. Going into the fifth position as they prepare for the restart is Ricky Rudd, the car that set on the pole. Then in sixth is Jeff Bodine. Maintaining seventh is Buddy Baker. Going in eighth is Kyle Party. And going ninth as they come down the line is car number 75, Neil Bonnet. And you are with Cale Yarborough as as he gets ready to shoot his shot. He's going down into that, listen to that car work as it screams into turn number 1.
Of course, at this stage after restart, they're still accelerating all the way through turns 1 and 2, and down the backstretch they won't reach full speed until they get right into turn 3.
Dale Yarborough has just taken you for a ride into first place in the 25th annual Daytona 500. And out of the back window, you see that someone is tagging along behind.
He dragged Richard Brooks through with him, and right behind Richard Brooks, it looks like the previous leader. No, the previous leader, 98, has dropped back to 6th spot already.
Here comes Bobby Allison, driving hurt. He's had 2 savage wrecks this week. But now, Bobby Allison is there. He's into 3rd. Penny won it back-to-back. Only one man has ever won this race back-to-back. That's Richard Petty, 73, 74. Bobby Allison did it last year. He's trying to win it again. This year would be his 3rd overall win of the Daytona 500. The white-red numeral, number 22 of Nygaard Racing, down the back straightaway. Incredible speed.
That shot over the wall there gives you just some idea of how fast these cars are going. And there's Bobby Allison going under Richard Brooks to try and take away 2nd spot. Not going to work. So he's going to slot back into line to maintain that draft. The danger of that, of course, is somebody else fills the hole that you've just come out of, and you can never get back in the line, which is in fact what really has happened to Joe Rutten.
1 day ago, Bobby Allison, Sportsman 300. He actually drove.
Oh, there's an engine. Somebody touched the wall going into turn 1 there. Quite hard. Smoke and dust. A big cloud of blue smoke as somebody ran into the wall going into turn 1.
They gathered it up and kept going. A day ago, Allison, driving with his ribs taped up, came out here, gave the car to his son Davey to drive. Then he had a windshield breakdown. New leader. It's Richard Brooks going up in front. And here comes Bobby Allison. The leader of the Alabama gang looks good today. But Richard Brooks, for the moment, looks even better. And there's Dale Yarborough getting slipstreamed by number 98. Joe Ruttman diving by him as they come back to the line. Down they come to complete 79 laps this time. It is Brooks in front, Allison in second. Bodine is coming up on the outside. Bodine from nowhere shoots the gap, goes up against the wall. And Jeff Bodine is going to second place. Ruttman closes on the inside. You would think it was the last lap.
There we see Buddy Baker, who's also crept up through the field and is now running in front of our camera car in 4th spot.
In the 5th spot, because Bodine has moved in there. Into that 2nd spot, Bodine, now Bodine for the lead. Jeff Bodine, originally from Chemung, New York, well-known short track racer, is taking the lead. Going into 2nd, Ruttman falling back to 3rd. Richard Brooks.
Richard Brooks in 3rd. Ruttman's now pulled himself up to 2nd, so in 1 lap, somebody else hits the wall coming off turn 4. Boy, these guys are getting really desperate.
The 5th spot is Baker. The 6th spot is our camera car, Dale Yarborough. Line 7th is Neil Bonnet. Neil Bonnet in that 7th position. Then in 8th, it is Kyle Petty. In the 9th position is Ron Bouchard. As down the backstretch they go. Falling back to 10th is Ricky Rudd, who had been the pole sitter.
Ron Bouchard, we haven't heard much of him this afternoon, but he's been lying up there in the lead lap the whole time. He did go extremely fast in practice and qualifying as the week wore on, so he could be a threat as this race comes down to conclusion.
Now Lake Speed is in 11th position. Remember, he made that lap up as they raced back to the flag. The number 1 car, Lake Speed, is up to 11th. Down a lap is David Pearson. He is showing 14th. A lot of Pearson fans all over America. There's the leader. The colors of Bill Stokely, the green and white colors, now being worn by, very proudly, Jeff Bodine. Joe Ruttman in that 2nd spot. Crew chief Buddy Parrott. I don't believe Buddy's ever had a winner in the Daytona 500. Joe Ruttman could give it all to him today. But the story of this race, Richard Brooks in the junior Don Levy car. This has to be one of their greatest times. Let's go back to the pits right now.
Gary Nelson, Bobby Allison's crew chief, right now on the radio with Bobby, telling him how fast he's going. Gary, you got over the big hump about 50 miles ago. You caught up with the lead pack. Is Bobby comfortable?
Bobby's on the loose side. It's our short track car, and we're not really set up for this kind of racetrack. He's doing doing the best he can. He's really doing a heck of a job to keep up with these super speedway cars. And if we win this one, we sure have earned it.
Gary, how does Bobby feel? I know he's wearing the flak jacket.
Bobby said he feels fine. The soreness in his ribs really isn't affecting his driving. It's just a kind of a dull pain. And he said he's fine. He can go the distance, no problem.
Ken, one other comment from Bobby about 2 laps ago. He said somebody up front is squirrely. He backed off a bit.
Somebody sure is.
He keeps hitting the wall, so I imagine that's the person he's referring to.
But there have been 2. I don't think it's been the same car. I thought once it was Baker and once it was Rutman. Be that as it may, the leaders are slipstreaming now. They pull back in to do some drafting. And on the back straightaway, it is Jeff Bodine with the lead. Rutman stays there in second, and Richard Brooks, I can't believe his performance. He's been in retirement, but he really came in here geared to do business today, and do business he is doing. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Ken, you mentioned a moment ago that a car had hit the wall going into turn 1. We think it was Ricky Rudd. Richard Childress, the car owner, standing by. Was it him?
Yeah, somebody had got into his left front and got him up high, and he got into the wall. We're just checking to make sure that we ain't got his tire revving right now. I think we'll be okay. He says everything's okay.
Okay, they've been watching him every lap. They've been talking to the NASCAR officials to see if they've seen anything on the car. He dropped back a few positions, but he is running okay, so they think that they'll get by without having to make that unscheduled pit stop.
I believe we can take a look at what happened out there, and maybe we'll see that it was Ricky Rudd's car. It's from our camera down at turn run, and that's exactly the story. There you see him, right up to the wall and nestled against it.
The wall, in fact, saved him. The car started to get away from him, and it just tapped the back around and saved him. But
can you imagine going nearly 200 miles an hour and have to lean on a wall to keep going straight?
Not my way of saving the situation.
Joe Rutman is now your leader. Joe Rutman goes up in front. Another lead change. Rutman to the lead.
That last lap at round about 196.
That's Neil Bonnet working out there and moving around Cale Yarborough. Army outside. Neil Bonnet makes his shot. That Chevrolet of Neil Bonnet into the back straightaway. So Cale crawling back a bit. Up in front for the lead. They swap it again. Bodine back to the first. Into second falls Rutman, the pride of California. The Rutman family, one of the great racing families of America. Here they come. In that second spot, trying to get another shot at Bodine. There's our cameraman. Almost, but not quite, when they slip underneath you at about 200 miles an hour.
That is a hard pan, that is for sure. But I tell you what, Jeff Bodine, he started up on the front row of this race. He's certainly not going to be discounted as this race comes down towards the end.
Here's Ned Jarrett.
The great American racing families is the Wood brothers. They own the car that Buddy Baker's driving out there, running in third place. Glenn, you folks were a little apprehensive about this new Ford design before you came here to Daytona after doing some testing, but it's looking pretty good out there now.
Well, we got to do a lot of things after we got here, and it drives real good in traffic, and of course during the race you have to drive in a lot of traffic, and it's working real well right now.
Ford is back in racing now to a great degree. Are you getting the parts and things that you need?
Well, they hadn't got any full board, but they've told us it would give us assistance in technology and stuff like that.
It's been said that you would quit before you'd change brands. You've been with Ford a long, long time.
Well, you know, there's a lot of fans we have to look at too, and we're going to try to make it go.
Well, he's making it go, Tim.
Thank you, Ned. Back straight away, Joe Rutman is going for the lead another time. Joe Rutman down to the inside and back into first place. Here he is, just flying to the corner. He was a former USAC stock car champion, moved up to the Winston Cup Tour, let's see, 4 years ago. And up in the sky, they're spelling out, welcome to CBS. And the Winston Day is not staying up there. David, it's an interesting way to get attention, too. That's the Miller High Life Flying Squadron. One of the special messages today's festivities coming to us. They each simultaneously release puffs of smoke, and that's how they get it up there. I understand those messages are about 1,000 feet high, about 6 miles long. Rutman losing the lead another time. And this time it's Bodine, and here comes Baker. So Joe Ruttman falls to third. Joe Ruttman considered a dark horse here. We asked Joe Ruttman if he thought a dark horse could win the Daytona 500.
If I'm considered a dark horse, I feel that there's no question that with the equipment I have this year and with the pit crew I have, there's no question that with the right brakes, and I think that's what it's going to take to win the race, the right brakes, I could definitely win the race.
Well, he's certainly right about that. You have got to have the brakes in this race. If this draft, for instance, was to go down to the flag, I mean, it would be absolutely impossible to make a strategy to make sure you won the race.
Car getting lapped. There's a group headed down into turn number 1. Some of the back markers continuing out there. Let's see. That's Buddy Arrington, I believe, leading the way in that group, and right behind him comes the Jim Sauter car. And following him is Phil Parsons. And they are running about 2 laps down, a little cluster all of their own back here. Meanwhile, up in front, 12 cars continue in the battle for first position in the 1983 25th Annual $1 Million Daytona 500. And Bodine finds himself back in front. And the 1980 winner, Buddy Baker, stays in second. Baker one time drove the fastest 500 in history. He'd like to win this one twice.
Say, Mike.
You found them.
Do you do tune-ups?
All the time, lady.
Yes, but can you guarantee your tune-ups for a year with free follow-ups?
At Goodyear, when we tune your engine, we back our good work with a 12-month guarantee. A guarantee that's got our good name on it. Now, who else can give you that?
A year guarantee on a tune-up?
For auto service that's guaranteed, come up to Goodyear.
Sure feels good taking it easy. Boy, what a day. I don't know what's tougher, roping steers or racing them. It's times like now, a guy really appreciates his scope. Just a pinch gives you real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. And that wintergreen flavor, that's really top-notch. This is a mighty fine way to unwind.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes.
Not a week goes by that someone doesn't come up and ask me to sign a can of Pennzoil. I'm always happy to put my name on a Pennzoil can because I believe in what's in it. Engine protection you can trust. That's why people ask for Pennzoil. Now what I'm really waiting for is someone to come up and say, Arnie, I got this tractor I'd like you to sign.
Pennzoil. Quality protection. Ask for it.
Have you seen what just hit town?
That's that new engine, isn't it? Look at this, shaft drive.
Is it fast?
About a 12 2/4 mile.
That'll blow away most 750s.
Okay, guys, whose is it?
The new Nighthawk from Honda. Wish it was mine.
But it isn't, is it?
Is it yours?
Uh-huh. Wait till Jake hears about this.
Elaine Zayak defends her crown in the World Figure Skating Championships here on CBS Sports.
93 laps have been completed. 107 laps remain in the 1983 Daytona 500. And the $1 Million Shootout is just that. 13 cars are running in the lead lap. They are running the lead draft with 3 other cars, making for a 16-car draft. That entire group less than 2 seconds apart. Average speed on the last report is a very slow 149.944 miles per hour. But the individual lap times,
well, right now, this lead group, this 16-car draft, is lapping at about 191 miles an hour. So that average speed is going to pick up. Car number 88, Jeff Bodine, pulled into the pits.
Let's go to Larry Newbert. Problem with our pickup in the pits for a moment. They're changing right side rubber, and out comes number 88. Back comes the team that last year gave Bodine a chance to sit on the pole for a couple of races, the Cliff Stewart Racing team.
And as he gets out of the pits and into turn 1, the main pack are coming down here to the stripe again for lap 95, which again 10 was about 191 miles an hour.
Running on the back end of that pack is the all-time champion, the 1972 winner in car number 14, A.J. Foyt. The last time he won a Grand National race, 1972, Ontario, California. But there's no denying he won here 2 weeks ago, and he's one of the greatest drivers of all time, and he keeps on fighting out here, staying with that lead draft. Here's a report from Ned Jarrett.
We're in his pits. His crew is very pleased with the progress that he's making. Dick Hutcherson, longtime driver and now the car builder of that. Dick, you said that you were pleased with the way A.J. is running now.
Ned, we got trouble with our radios. AJ can't hear us, and we can't hear him. Consequently, the radios are kind of quiet today, but we were a little loose to start with, but we're running real good now.
Oh, you can watch for him to move up through the pack. And one of the crew members here in Foyt's pits, when Bodine came in, Ken, they looked up pit road and said the right rear tire is blistered on that car again. So apparently he'd had that problem before. Did you know about it, Dick?
Yeah, we've had that problem before, but we're confident now. We're moving up. We're still in the same lap. Everything's looking real good.
Okay, that's a report from the A.J. Foyt pits.
Dick Hutcherson, who won 14 Grand National races in his career, and A.J. is moving up. He has just gone into 10th position as he went by Bill Elliott's Ford.
And he's a long way down, though. He's 2.6 seconds behind.
Passing car number 90, Cale Yarborough, down on the inside as they fight for 4th place. Meanwhile, up in front, new leader Buddy Baker in the Wood Brothers car. Rutland is in 2nd. Buddy Baker is becoming the 10th different winner of the event.
A.J. Foyt is definitely pulling back. He was lying, in fact, 16 in that 16-car draft. And he's now up to 246. He's only in 9th spot now, so he's gradually making his way towards the front of this group. Obviously, at this stage, he doesn't want to show his hand, but he would like to lead, I'm sure, just for a bit, to get some idea of what the car feels like out in the front of this pack.
Kyle Petty may be showing some smoke off the right front tire. Kyle Petty may be showing smoke off the right front tire. Lead car continues to be 98 at the moment, Joe Rutland, but the story is A.J. Foyt for the moment. He is really beginning to attack. He's running right behind Ron Bouchard and trying to move up.
And of course, in 2nd spot, there is definitely smoke coming out of Kyle Petty's car now as he goes down towards turn 1. And as he goes through turn 1, you can see a lot of smoke coming out of his car.
Kyle Petty trying to keep the family tradition alive. They have won on this track 9 Grand National races. 1 with Pete Hamilton, of course, Lee back on the very first one, that photo finish. And 7 by Richard. Once again, change of leadership, give it to Neil Bonnet. Bonnet, boy, he has been some marauder, just sitting back there and then waiting, pirating the lead coming out of turn number 3 in 2 previous races this week. Here he is in front, and Richard Brooks, I'll tell you, the man named Don Levy from Virginia has probably eaten at least 3 cigars watching his car run this far up in front. Now there is the light indicating number 7 that will go out with a black flag to bring in Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty will be told to come in. A consultation flag will go out of this youngster who won his first race he ever drove. And that first race he ever drove was right here at Daytona in the ARCA 200 back in 1979. His father said if he's going to learn to drive, he better learn to drive first on the super speedway, and he won't have to unlearn anything.
Well, Kyle Petty's slowing down. He's going to come into the pits this lap, but somehow the front 5 cars on that lead group have made a massive lead change, and they've pulled right away from the rest of the group.
Neil Bonnet is the 11th different leader in this event. Halfway home in the 1983 $1 million Daytona 500. Kyle Petty is on pit road. Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Ken, they're going under the hood to see if they can find where that smoke is coming from. And as you see, as they raise the hood, there is an oil coming from somewhere under there. The crew members are looking at it. One of the NASCAR officials now over there telling them something. And Kyle is, of course, sitting in the cockpit raring to go. He wants to go. Now the NASCAR official are told they'll have to pull it off of pit road. He has shut the engine off, so this is going to be a very lengthy pit stop for Kyle Petty, who is running so well here today. But apparently there's some sort of a leak under there. The engine was running, sounded to be running fine, Ken, but now they're going to have to take it behind pit wall to make those repairs.
Kyle Petty in his 3rd Daytona 500, and the previous 2 both ended with engine failure and problems again today up in the engine compartment. There's your leader, Neil Bonnet. He statue of Bobby Isaac. He is as courageous and as brave a race driver as the Winston Cup Grand National scene has seen for years. There's Ronnie Hopkins on pit road in car number 26. A lot of racing in that family over a lot of generations, too. Back to the leader, Neil Bonnet. Won 63 races for Bobby Allison when he first began to become known. Allison put him in his car, said, "Go for it." And he has gone ever since. And his mentor lies a little further back in ninth, is Allison himself.
And there right behind him are two Fords, Buddy Baker and Dick Brooks, the surprise of the race so far. Those Ford automobiles really seem to have been going extremely well this week. Dale Earnhardt was running very strongly till he blew an engine. Boy, these cars have shown a lot of form, considering somebody blown up on the back straight. On the back stretch, blue car, I don't think it's Richard Brooks.
Brooks is still up in there in third. Looks like J.D. McDuffie or Dave Marcus.
Dave Marcus, I think, number 71, yeah.
That's a bad break for Marcus. Boy, he's won some races, too. He's won 5 Grand National races, and he's been running pretty well. He's running up in 17th. Back to Ned Jarrett.
Kyle Petty has taken his helmet off and now pulling the steering wheel off. Kyle, is that it for the day?
Yeah, I guess so. I get some burner piston or head crack where the push rod goes in and stuff because it's just pumping all oil right out the breathers.
For a long period of time, you had to be thinking, I'm going to win my first Grand National race.
Well, we felt like we had a chance to finish pretty good, but I guess the motor's gone and we'll be back in the garage here for a while.
Well, he's able to smile just a little bit, Ken, but that's a Petty tradition, you might say.
A.J. Foyt now on pit road. A.J. coming in. Kyle Petty out of it.
Now there's a classic case too. His crew had tires ready and the jack ready, but of course without radio communication, I guess it wasn't until he actually stopped that he could say to them, don't bother to change the tires.
Kyle Petty the other day told me he has real trouble at home. His 2-year-old son, Adam, has become a Darrell Waltrip fan. Tries to call him up on the phone every day. Here's A.J. Foyt coming back out of the pits.
I do, but I'm not a fan. I just want money. That was a long pit stop for A.J. Foyt, around about 44, 45 seconds. There was a bit of miscommunication. They tried to clean the windscreen, and he waved at them violently and made him do it again, so that lost him quite a bit of time.
10th place car, Lake Speed, the Haas Ellington machine, number 1, is on pit road. And here's Kaylee Yarborough right up there in the hunt with our CBS camera on board to give you a racer's view.
As he goes by Buddy Baker and is right behind Richard Brooks.
Here he is, back to the tri-oval. He is running third. Richard Brooks right in front of him. You're watching the battle from inside Kaylee Yarborough's car. Lap car down on the inside as they go into turn number 1. Back to Ned Jarrett.
Buddy Baker in for a scheduled pit stop. They go to the right side, changing those tires, and of course filling it up with gasoline. This is one of the fastest crews in the business, Ken. We've seen them make pit stops, change 2 tires, and fill up gasoline in 14 seconds, and I believe they did it that time.
Chasing him down the pit road with the gas can as Buddy Baker gets back onto the track.
Car number 89 is on pit road. Let's go back to Ned Jarrett.
Here's Ricky Rudd, and you can see the damage on the left front, Ken, that they were concerned about a little bit earlier. A car did get into it, which caused him to get into the wall, but he managed to stay out there and wait until the schedule stopped to come in.
You can also see on the right rear quarter panel the damage the wall did, so he got it both sides. One on the car on the left that pushed him into the wall and damaged the right-hand side of the car.
Leaders up on the west banking. Neil Bonnet stays up in front. Richard Brooks, the surprise in second. Kaylee Yarborough is third.
Nobody has to tell me to get on the stick. With the wide stick, I don't waste time or money. See, Speed Stick deodorant is so much wider than the other leading stick. Gives you effective protection in just a few strokes. And if you've been using an aerosol, look, you'd use up 2 3-ounce sprays and start a third before you'd use up 1 2.5-ounce Speed Stick. So don't waste time or money.
Get the wide stick for value. Speed Stick deodorant by Menon.
Beatico Creek, Louisiana, and Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Beatico Creek means bass, fat and tasty. And Milwaukee means beer, cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer, and the smooth golden light taste of Old Milwaukee Light.
Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Tastes as great as their name.
Let me tell you, it doesn't get any better than this.
from Daytona Beach, Florida, and we've got trouble coming out of turn number 2. Caution is coming on the track. Caution is coming on the speedway. There is a car in trouble in turn number 2. Resting down at the bottom of the track. It came just when number 75, Neil Bonnet, was about to pull on pit road. I believe that it's Delma Coward's car. A man who builds swimming pools. Got himself into deep water here, coming out of the second turn. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened to Delma Coward. Slides, takes the wall on the outside and just rides along it. Not much you can do then, David.
Now he manages to hold the car up on the wall pretty well. Ooh! Now that was close. He was totally out of control. There's no way the other guy could have possibly missed him. It certainly looked a bit like A.J. Foyt that could have missed him.
Leaders are all pitting. Front 4 are all in. Let's go to Larry Newberg.
Dick Brooks, the man from Portersville, California, making quite a comeback in his driving career, although there are those who will tell you that this is about the 3rd or 4th comeback that this man has made in his driving career. Just when you think that Brooks is over the hill, he comes back and turns in a great performance, driving one of those Fords. Ned Jarrett at the other end of pit row.
Neil Bonnet is in, taking advantage of this caution, and boy, was he a lucky soul. He was about to come in for his regular stop. Now he gets to do it under caution. They're changing all 4 tires. Now back to Larry Newberg.
Joe Ruttman getting tremendous tire wear, just took a drink of fuel. They looked at the tires, decided to stay with the set they have on. Joe Ruttman back out.
Well, that just shows the luck of the draw in some of this in this racing, where they have the caution cars and the caution flags. A.J. Foyt just made a slightly extended pit stop under the green, lost himself very nearly a lap, and then 2 laps later, everybody else is about to ready to make their pit stops. Has the luxury of making it under the caution. Just the way the ball bounces.
Picking up Don McCoward's car off turn number 2. Richard Brooks has finished 5th in this race on a couple of occasions, driving a car number 90 for Junior Donlevy. But this is an amazing performance by him. He has been here off and on for years, since back in '69, and he was a former Grand National Rookie of the Year. But this has been one of his few performances, and after last year, I think he drove maybe 1 or 2 other races and then didn't come out. This year, he's making a full commitment to run the tour. If you're just joining us, Richard Brooks is running well up with the front of the field here at the Daytona 500. He's being shown in 3rd. Richard Petty has retired from the race. Darrell Waltrip has crashed out of it. We'll update you in a moment. We'll be back with more live coverage of the Daytona 500 after this word from your local stations.
This is CBS.
If you'd like to find a better way to fly on business, TWA has news for you. On most airlines, you don't have the comfort of a special business section. But on every TWA wide body, you'll find wider seats and fewer of them in TWA's Ambassador class. It's only $10 to $30 more than coach, and it's roomy and comfortable.
Even if you're next to someone as big as I am, you are.
You're gonna like us, TWA.
Now, to recognize an individual whose outstanding sales record comes from the multiplicity of uses he has found for Watts. Not just to sell, not just to service, but to get closer to customers, even using Watts for qualifying prospects. I am proud to present our Salesman of the Year, Wendell Metcalf.
Metcalf? Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Watts, it's another way to get things done today.
I will try to live.
Jane Fonda stars tonight at 11:30.
Next weekend on CBS Sports Saturday, the excitement continues with the World Sprint Speed Skating Championships. And Alexis Arguello returns to the ring next Saturday.
The Goodyear Blimp Enterprise showing you where the action is on this Sunday afternoon, the 25th running of the Daytona 500. And right now, let's have a little chat with the man in 4th place, currently in the race, Cale Yarborough. Cale, you took a shot at the lead with Joe Ruttman. You pulled it off a while, pulled back. Are you running your kind of race, or are they just running with you, running around you out there? Are you where you want to be?
Well, I'm where I want to be, Ken.
you know, I'm right here with the leaders, and it's still early in the race, and if I just stay right here, we'll be okay.
Hey, what's the story on Richard Brooks in number 90? He's running fantastically today.
That car is really strong and handling real well. He's doing a good job.
Also, we're really surprised about Warner Hodgson's car. It has stayed well and stayed tough the entire distance. That car looks like it could give you a lot of trouble if we get down to a white flag situation.
Well, we'll have to see. This car is running pretty good, too. We're just kind of biding our time right now. I don't know what will happen when it gets down close to end, but I'm satisfied right now.
Are the gauges okay in 28?
Everything looks real good right now.
Thanks again, Cale.
Okay, Ken. Darrell Walter wasn't hurt bad, was he?
No, he wasn't. The late report is that they're taking him for some more x-rays over to the Halifax hospital, but he was verbal. He was talking to his folks and told him to remind his wife, Stevie, that he was okay. So things look good for him, Dale.
That's good.
111 laps complete, and we'll see you a bit later. And let's take a look at how that race cam operates for just a moment out here. There you see the folks watching. They have a joystick in there. George Raffio, our cameraman, just operates that stick. He can move the camera. Now watch his hand, and you'll see the camera move. There he is, peeking out the front. And he can turn around and look out the back. What every driver needs, David.
Yeah, especially on rush hour on the freeway. You can do it with an eye in every direction like that.
That is fed up to a device in the sky antenna. Good afternoon, George. Great job. I'll tell you, the CBS crew has been outstanding. We have had terrible weather for 2 weeks and getting set up, and it's a little like bringing in Ringling Brothers compounded about 18 times to make all of this work, and Walter Pyle and the folks have done a magnificent job under terrible conditions. But now, weather has come out perfect. Just a great day. Let's go to Larry Nuber with Jeff Bodine.
Jeff, you guys were fast today, weren't you?
I'm real happy the way the car was working. Gatorade Pontiac was handling beautiful. We had a few tire problems. I don't know if we were running over something out there. The first time was the right front, then it was the right rear, so I think we were running over something on the racetrack.
Wasn't set up then?
I don't believe so, because it wasn't the same tire each time, so I think we were just running over something.
You looked a little different than all the other drivers today. You had one of the full-face helmets on. Are you more comfortable with that again?
Well, you know, I just feel it's a lot safer than an open-face helmet. What happened to Terry Labonte at Riverside, I guess, convinced me to go back to the full-face helmet, and, you know, I was real comfortable out there. There's no problem with it. I think it would be a good idea for all the drivers to do that. I like to say hi to my younger son, Matthew. He's back home, and tell him we'll be home in a couple days.
Has Cliff Stewart said anything to you about that $10,000 bet that you lost for him?
No, that was all Cliff's doing. He was having a lot of fun, and that's what he gets out of racing, is a lot of fun. And the bet applied no extra pressure to us to get the pole. We're off a little bit that day, and we'll come back and try it again.
He bet another crew that you would be on the pole, didn't he? Who was that?
Well, he had several bets. I don't really know who he bet with. I stayed right out of that.
Well, Jeff Bodine is out of it today, but there are a lot of people who think he'll be in victory lane very, very soon.
Well, I must agree with Jeff Bodine, too, also on this on the helmet business, that whenever I drive a sedan type car or a GT car, I always wear a full face helmet. They are a little bit hotter, but they're an awful lot safer from facial injury. That even in these cars, these massive roll cages, things can go wrong, and you can get that roll cage in your face, and with a full face helmet, you're in much better shape.
113 laps complete. We're getting back to a race condition here at Daytona, and there you see we've had 11 leaders thus far in the race. 35 lead changes, just an incredible number of lead changes as they gather them up, with Joe Ruttman out in front, Richard Brooks holding on to that second spot. Neil Bonnet is in third, and our CBS camera car number 28, Cale Yarborough, is in fourth. Bill Elliott in fifth. Look out for him. Quick word from Ned Jarrett.
Ken, a year ago, almost 20% of the field was J.D. Stacy's cars. He has one in there this year that Mark Martin's driving. So, Jim, you're playing a little different role here today.
Yeah, we're out there trying to do the best we can with one car, and he's running pretty good.
You look like you're a big part of the team here.
Well, I'm trying to fit in a little bit.
Well, he's calling the shots here, Ken, but quite different from a year ago when he had 7 cars with his name on it.
The Mark Martin car, number 2, is currently running in 12th position overall in the field. Here we come down for a start. We've had 3 cautions thus far in the race. And as they get ready to put the green out again, you are inside Cale Yarborough's automobile. There you see a lap car down on the inside. Lenny Pond, number 51. Lap cars are down on the inside. Cars to lead lap on the outside. Cale moves off the tri-oval just a little. Lenny Pond tries to move around another car, 64 Tommy Gale in front of him. And he swings on by another lap machine on the inside as they dive into turn number 1 and get her up to full speed. Pond directly in front, a lap car of Cale Yarborough. He goes by Dean Roper.
Cale will want to get by number 51. There he goes now, so he can maintain contact with that lead group. You don't want to lose contact at this stage of the race for those people.
Coming off turn number 4. Car up in front is on the tail end of the lead lap. That is Lake Speed, Mississippi driver, on the tail end of the lead lap. They're trying to put him a lap down. Ruttman goes through. Richard Brooks goes through. Lake Speed running right in front of Bobby Allison, currently back up to 3rd. Allison in a terrible crash here in the clash, right in the wall at almost the identical point to where Darrell Waltrip crashed earlier today. Richard Brooks has done it again. 21. Buddy Baker on the move. He is now right behind Bill Elliott as they come
running at about 9th spot, but he's been running strongly all afternoon. He's taken his share. He has led some laps here this afternoon. He's coming up on the inside there.
8 cars in the lead lap. 116 laps have been completed. 116 complete, 84 to go. So there's Richard Brooks. Who would have thought it? There was one nobody was talking about this week, David.
Who would have thought it? I can hardly believe it. Richard Brooks. Who would have thought 20 years ago that Richard Brooks would be leading this race?
Not for long.
Joe Ruttman there, coming up on the inside. Neil Bonnet there, lying in 3rd spot. Richard Brooks goes high on the banking.
Lead changes simply remarkable here today. Look out for Bonnet in 3rd. They're all bunched up.
Cale Yarborough lying there in 4th spot, just right behind Neil Bonnet, and right behind him is Bobby Allison, car number 22. Up to 6th spot moves Buddy Baker in the other Ford, number 21, the Wood Brothers car.
Song, some days are diamond, some days are stone. It's certainly been true for Bobby Allison. He won just about everything here a year ago. Then this year, he's had trouble every day out here. But right now, it may be a state of transition for Allison. He's right there with the leaders. Here comes Cale Yarborough down the inside as he wants to take his shot. You're inside of his car. He is up to 3rd. He gets underneath Joe Ruttman. Brooks is in 1st, then Bonnet is in 2nd, and you are right there with that 3rd place car.
And also at this stage of the race, you can start to see how that windscreen is starting to get just a little bit less.
Neil Bonnet is waving, and he's pulling down. Bonnet dropping off. Falling back in that, he was waving.
Neil Bonnet's got a problem. Neil Bonnet was waving then to warn Cale Yarborough that he was going to drop down.
And he is falling way back. He is way back to the end of the draft. He is still exiting turn 2 as the field hustles down the back straightaway. Something
Bonnet's got a problem. He was waving then to let Cale know that something was wrong.
Cale Yarborough into the lead again. Dropping back to 3rd goes Richard Brooks. Up to 2nd comes Joe Ruttman. And something amiss on car number 75 for Neil Bonnet. He has dropped off the lead and he is going to pit.
He's going to pit, I believe, just in front of him. It's Lake Speed, who had been just put a lap down too.
Well, here's Neil Bonnet, winner of the Clash. Winner last year of the World 600 at Charlotte, North Carolina. Right side tires and fuel on his car, 119 laps complete. Lake Speed is also taking on right side tires, about 5 pits behind him on pit road. Buddy Baker is trying to take away 3rd spot from Richard Brooks. No go. Brooks stays there.
Neil Bonnet's changing all 4 tires on his car.
He'll go a lap down.
He's about to go a lap down.
position is Bobby Allison, and 6th in that flock is Ron Bouchard. Then in 7th is Ricky Rudd, and right on the tail of our number 28 car, Cale Yarborough. There you see Joe Ruttman as they squabble for the front position.
You can see Ruttman's arms there working as they go around that banking, down the back straight now. Practically see the whites of his eyes there. You get an idea of just how close that draft is. Lots of people can't even back into the garage that close to the wall. Just drops back a little bit as they go through 3 and 4, but still only about 10 feet behind at the most. And as they come off the corner, he'll catch right up again to him. Through the tri-oval, be right glued to his tail.
Here comes the Thunderbird of Buddy Baker. Baker on the move, going to 3rd position and pulling up. The Daytona 500 getting down to decision time, 4:83.
Most guys spend Sunday taking it easy. Not me. When I'm racing a Bandit, there's no taking it easy. So I'm out here early before a race trying to relax. Just me and my Sko. Just a pinch gives me real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. And that wintergreen flavor's a real winner.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes. From out of the distance comes a driver's car. Pontiac 2000 for 1983. A car that takes on the road with a smooth shifting 5-speed transmission with overdrive. The ready response of electronic fuel injection. And the steady whirling power of an overhead cam 4-cylinder engine. Pontiac 2000. Pure driving pleasure. At Pontiac, we build excitement.
Mr. McEnroe, that's a very close shave.
You must be joking! That ball was in!
No, Mr. McEnroe, you're shaved. It's very close.
Of course! I shave with Bic.
You earn millions and shave with a 20-cent Bic?
Look, why pay more for fancy handles and tricky tops when I get lots of close shaves with Bic?
Advantage McEnroe.
He's right. I don't have to shave with a 20-cent Bic. But I do.
When it comes to home computers, the Atari home computer gets high grades.
Atari can be both business, it can be a family computer, it can do the games. I've done a little bit of the word processing.
Christopher has learned how to read faster. I'm pretty well convinced that that's happened.
It teaches me, it helps me to learn more. This Atari home computer system has great graphics, it has great programs.
Only one computer lets you enjoy this library of over 2,000 enlightening and entertaining programs. Atari home computers.
It has great everything.
CBS Sports Special is sponsored by the makers of Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days, the smokeless tobaccos. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Speed Stick Deodorant, the wide stick. Effective protection in just a few strokes. Speed Stick by Menon.
From the Goodyear blimp, you are watching Cale Yarborough repossess first place in the 25th annual Daytona 500, driving one of the great races of his career. He's been fighting among the top 5 all afternoon, bringing his car up in front, and now you're looking out back from the rear of Cale Yarborough's car at Bobby Allison, who is in 2nd place. There is Allison right there in 2nd. Let's go to Ned Jarrett in Neil Bonnet's pits.
Just before the commercial break, Ken, you mentioned that Neil Bonnet had come into the pits and changed all 4 tires. We're with Butch Mock, the crew chief on it. Butch, why did he come in?
We had a left front tire come apart on us. I don't know if we ran over or something or just came apart. We're not sure.
Now you're a little more than a lap down. You say that he's running faster than anything else on the track.
Yeah, we just turned some of the fastest laps we've run all day, so hopefully some cautions will fall in our favor and we can get back up with the leaders.
Well, Ken, what they have to do is to catch the leaders, pass them, and then hope to be able to make up that lap. Now let's go to Larry Newberg.
With the world's fastest stock car crew chief. 5 years in a row now you've had the fastest car here. Any way of putting a percentage on what's more important during the race, handling or horsepower?
I didn't get the question.
Waddell, I ask you if there's any way of applying a percentage during the running of the race. What's more important, handling or horsepower?
Well, right now, you know, it's both, but we've had to struggle a little bit with the car to get it straightened out, and it seems to be working a lot better now than it was. You know, Cale is so good to work with, and he just sits in there and just tells us what he's doing, and then, you know, we try to figure out what to do to help the car.
Waddell, we've heard a lot from Cale himself on our broadcast today. He seems very confident. How do you feel the chances are?
Well, I feel good at this point. There's a lot of good cars still running. I just hate that we lost our Chevrolet. You know, it would have made us much more competitive than what we are.
Ken, they'll have to stop probably 2 more times. By the way, Neil Bonnet may be able to get by with just 1 more stop.
He is running a lap down, but the story is in front. Bobby Allison has appropriated the lead.
And Neil Bonnet, on his own, more or less, with no help from the draft, is catching up that leading bunch. In the last lap, he caught up nearly a second. So if he can get back there amongst those guys, lead that bunch, then if there's a caution flag, he's immediately given the lap back that he's lost.
Bobby Allison losing the lead to Cale Yarborough. Yarborough going back in front, and Joe Ruttman goes to second place. But Allison is showing his strength. Battle continuing. Oh, trouble on 98. He's all over the track, and he picks it back up. Gathers it up and brings it across. Report is now that 22, Allison, is running on the tail end of the lead lap. He got trapped in those pit stops. He's running the tail end of the lead lap. So instead of going for the lead and for third, he is actually running back a lap. Well, that's a heartbreaker for him. If he has to go down a lap after the work he's done this week with that car, with the injuries he's sustained.
So the Alabama gang are both a lap down, but Neil Bonnet has picked up an enormous amount of time, and he's now right in that lead group again. And both he and Allison will want to get to the front of that group and then pray for a caution of some sort.
Cale Yarborough, who won this race in Mercury back in 1968. Wood Brothers car came back and won it again, trying for his 3rd win. Stays in front. Ruttman, who has never won it. His elder brother was the youngest driver to ever win the Indianapolis 500 when he drove for J.C. Agogini in a car number 98. And that's the number on the flanks of this machine that's now rolling along in 2nd place. Now there's Neil Bonnet running by himself, but as David said, he is just overwhelming everybody. Here he is moving in on Mark Martin of New Albany, Indiana, as he hustles down the back straightaway.
Well, Neil Bonnet is now right back up in that lead group. He's following right behind number 3. That's Ricky Rudd, who's out on the pole for this race. So although he's a lap down, he's right in that lead group, which is where he's got to be.
Let's go to Larry Newberg.
Dick Brooks, a little bit of drama beginning to develop in the pits. You see the group. Dick Brooks has just announced he's coming in. They've been discussing it for about 2 laps. They think they have a tire going down on the right side. They'll change right side rubber and give a very close inspection of the left side. There's Brooks. A disappointing stop and coming at a very inopportune time.
Well, that is a blow for Richard Brooks. I thought he was slipping back a bit in that lead bunch. He'd dropped to the back of it, and he's been running so strongly all afternoon. That'll be a terrible disappointment for the Junie Dunleavy team if they do, in fact, run into trouble at this late stage in the race.
Yarborough, number 28 first, number 98 in second. We saw Junior Dunleavy himself, Junie Dunleavy, working on that left front tire. That creates that car and loves this sport as much as anyone in it. 3rd spot now belongs to Buddy Baker. 131 laps complete.
When America wanted a high-performance radial that could handle wet weather, Goodyear came through with the Eagle GT.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on number 1.
The high-performance Eagle GT. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on number 1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on number 1.
Some things speak for themselves.
To World Cup champion Phil Mayer and pro photographer Russ Kinney, challenge is the name of the game. Winning is the reason they play. That's when Cannon's AE1 program shows the stuff the winning shots are made of. Because to catch the best, you need an instrument with all the features a pro wants.
Hey, Russ, can I try that? Sure.
With a program mode that even lets Phil shoot like a pro, shade or sun. The AE1 program, so advanced, it's simple.
Like a lot of people, I'm taking better care of my body. Better care of my skin, too. With Skin Bracer Aftershave. Shaving is rough, so I use Skin Bracer. It cools and smooths skin. Tightens pores. That's the tingle. Smells great, too. But Skin Bracer's not cologne. It's skin care that feels good. That's why more men are saying, thanks. I needed that.
Skin Bracer, now in spice, too. Takes care of men who take care of their skin. Skin Bracer Aftershave.
Today, the NCAA basketball action continues on CBS Sports with a battle of the centers as Steve Stepanovich in Missouri take on Ralph Sampson in Virginia today on CBS Sports.
Live at the Daytona 500, Daytona Beach, Florida. You're looking at the attrition. There are now 13 cars that have fallen by the wayside in this race of the 42 that started. Richard Petty had an engine fail. Next week, Sunday, Richard Petty will drive his 900th career race, going for his 196, not on a super speedway, but a little half-mile track up in Richmond, Virginia. Jeff Bodine, the most recent retiree, change of leadership. Joe Ruttman is there, but there is the story, number 75, Neil Bonnet. Now watch Neil Bonnet in the 75. He has been making up time, driving up through the field. He was way behind him. Now Neil Bonnet is trying to get a lap back here. He gets underneath Cale Yarborough. Watch Bonnet in that 75, tight running. He almost was caught on a lap car 2 laps ago in the flyover. Looked for all the road. He was actually hit and turned a little sideways. Neil Bonnet has made a tremendous charge. He is a lap down, but he's trying to make it up. He's side by side with Cale Yarborough, the second place runner. Buddy Baker, number 21, is third. What a story here. Trying to make up a lap in the Daytona 500 to win it. That is tough doing. Now it's very steep. Notice how there's that lap car down to the inside, Buddy Arrington. Here comes Cale Yarborough, and it's going to force Bonnet out of it for just a minute, make him back off before again. Oh, a car in the wall. Number 2, Mark Martin. Mark Martin stumbles into the wall. You could just barely see him collect it.
And it ripped his rear fender off and has damaged the car.
Caution is out.
That'll bring the caution out. Well, that's a shame for Neil Bonnet, because if he had led that lap, that would have given him his lap back. No, they're going to race to the flag.
They are racing to the flag, so Bonnet has it all hung out. Neil Bonnet on the back straightaway. Number 2, Smokey. He has a fender torn up, but the story is following Neil Bonnet. He's trying to get his lap back. Remember, they race to the line among those leaders.
They're racing to the line as they go through turns 3 and 4. Neil Bonnet going high. They're going to run through the debris that
Here is Bonnet. Look at Bonnet go up to the outside. He's trapped. He's trying to find a hole. He's trying to get that lap back. He pushes Ruttman. Ruttman won't let him through. Ruttman will keep him a lap down. That's exactly what Ruttman wanted to do, but he was actually getting tagged in that dramatic run back to the wire another time. 136 laps are complete as they go back under caution. Just 64 laps remaining to the decision of this $1 million 25th annual Daytona 500. It all began when Mark Martin had problems, and you could actually see it start
coming into the pits now, and you can see the damage on his car, which is pretty extensive on the right-hand side of his car. He hit the wall very hard coming off the 4th turn, but didn't lose control of the car, but he's lost a lot of the car instead.
A brilliant recovery for Mark Martin, but the right side is all torn up on the J.C. Stacy automobile. There you see it on pit road after he was able to get it around and get it flowed.
There we saw another example of this crazy dash for the line to get a lap back, because, I mean, it was just a miracle that no one had a major crash there, because Neil Bonnet was leaning on Joe Ruttman, and they were going through lap traffic.
The Buick is going to retire. Mark Martin in the J.D. Stacy Buick is going back behind the wall through the television tower on pit road. Sad day for him. He really gave it a shot, though. Mark had been running in 9th position when he finally was forced into retirement. All the leaders leaders pitting. Walrip is in. Yarborough is in. And the key play here is right down on pit road. Let's go to Larry Newber.
Joe Ruttman, the man who has never won a Grand National stock car race but come close many times, comes in for a stop under yellow, despite the fact that Ruttman has been playing almost bumper cars, no apparent damage in the race car. Ned Jarrett, the other end of pit road.
We're watching Ron Bouchard's team as they change all 4 tires. We haven't heard a great deal out of him today, but he's been running right up in there with the leaders. His team is very confident that he can stick with them and make a move towards the end. Now let's go back to Larry Newber.
Dick Brooks is in. Remember, a couple of laps ago, they changed right side rubber. They came in while we were away in the commercial, changed left side rubber. The car still does not feel right. They think now it may not have been a tire problem, but perhaps something wrong with the chassis. Nate Jarrett.
Ridley is getting all 4 tires too. Most of them will take all 4 tires during this caution period. They'll check out the tires to be sure that they're getting the type wear they want. So everybody comes in, changes those tires, and of course fill it up with gasoline. Now let's go back to Larry Newber.
You can see work being done on the left rear side of Dick Brooks' car. Judy Dunleavy and crew going to work. Damage to the left rear quarter panel that may have been the start of their problems about 100 miles ago.
1 lap to the green, 138 laps complete, 62 laps remaining in the 1983 Daytona 500 with Joe Ruttman out in front. The question is, can Neil Bonnet make up his lap and get back in this thing?
What makes Pontiac 6000 the new rival to the world's great road cars? Let us count the ways. Front-wheel drive, electronic fuel injection, rack and pinion steering, McPherson front struts, high-tech engineering, European styling. It all adds up to 6,000. Pontiac 6000. And the excitement multiplies. Pontiac, we build excitement.
Sears bang up Washington's birthday sale with savings you'll salute. 2 days only. Get honest-to-goodness savings of $15 on America's best-selling replacement auto battery, Sears Die Hard. Now just $54.99. Sale fireworks continue with Sears Spectrum 10W40 motor oil. Only 79 cents a quart. And by George, now is the time to save 10 to 50% on every radial tire in stock. Now, 2 days only for bang-up buys all over the store. Shop Sears.
Watch what happened to Mark Martin. He'll come into your frame way on the high side, that blue and yellow car way out back.
And as you see, he swings wide. He just clips the wall there with his right rear fender, which slants him down. He touches that low car there, which swerves, pushes him back into the wall, which he really hits hard, but manages to correct it and hold on to it. But of course, it rips off the right front fender and damages the right rear quarter of the car as well. The lucky guy in that was the car that he was just passing on the low side, who wasn't pushed out of control.
Talk about making a great save. Now that's a great save.
It's a bit like Bob Stenner catching a fly ball, or whatever you call it.
Back with you live, our producer Robert Stenner, who helped us lose our annual softball game here at Daytona Beach to the Daytona Beach Police Department by a margin which we'll never talk about again. Here they come with 140 laps complete as they come to the line, as they come to the stripe. Pace car is in, and the lead car, I believe, is 98. The 3 car is showing up in front, but he has gone a lap down. The number 3 car is your leader going into the corner. But that 3, the Richard Childress car, being driven by Ricky Rudd, set on the pole at 198.864. Chevrolet Monte Carlo is about to go a lap down. That would leave 5 cars as we have it in the lead lap. Here's Ruttman onto the inside. Allison is there. He's already gone by Ricky Rudd. And there comes the 75, Neil Bonnet. Now there's the character around which this whole play revolves at this time. Bonnet is as fast as anything, and perhaps faster. You're about to find out. If he can get that lap back, there is still time enough for him to make his presence felt in victory lane this day. Ruttman in front, and Ruttman seems to have, David Hobbs, the shakiest ride in the field. Everywhere you see that car, it seems to dance.
Well, Gail Yarber said his car looked loose earlier on, but he thought he got it tightened down a bit now. But there's no doubt about it. That car is running loose. And maybe Joe Ruttman's going to try and win this race the same way that Mario Andretti did it back in 1967 with a car that was so loose it scared everybody else back.
Neil Bonnet makes up his lap, and he drags along with him Bobby Allison. And here comes Buddy Baker, and Baker will now be your new leader. Number 21, Baker is in front. Ruttman goes to second, but the story is right there. The white and maroon Warner Hotch, number 75, Chevrolet Monte Carlo out in front in this Daytona 500. Now can he draw away? The third place car is Bill Elliott in number 9. Now this guy had 5 second place finishes accumulated over the past few seasons. He's never won it, but his two brothers are his crew chief, and you can't discount him. Take a look at the tires that came off Phil Parsons' car after he chewed one up coming around the racetrack.
Well, because he spun off going through the tri-oval, and by the time, I think the tire probably burst, which is why he spun. By the time he'd driven back on it, as you can see, not much left of it.
Here's Cale Yarborough getting beneath number 98 Ruttman, and he picks up a spot. Cale seems to be playing a waiting game now. Cale is on his way, trying for that third spot. Cale Yarborough on the move another time. The two-time Daytona 5 winner. He could do it again.
My music keeps me going in more ways than one. If I'm not riding a concert, I'm flying to one. So I really appreciate relaxing. Just me and my Skoal. Skoal's wintergreen flavor is #1 with me. Just a pinch gives me real tobacco pleasure without lighting up anytime, anywhere.
Mr. Daniels, smoking or non-smoking?
Smokeless, darling.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes.
I once rolled a log off a 100-foot waterfall, came up standing, and popped myself open a cold light beer from Miller.
Ah, you lumberjacks. Well, one time a big-mouth bass pulled me up a waterfall. That's when you appreciate light beer, because it's less filling.
Yeah, but it was the thought of light's great taste that kept me going when I was cutting timber in the Great Sahara Forest.
Wait a minute. Sahara's the desert.
It is now.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
No, speaking of forest, remember that time?
1, 2.
Well, we've had a major incident down in turn number 1. 3 cars spinning. Rick Baldwin, one of them, in the number 04 car. Rick Baldwin limping around the racetrack, and let's take a look and replay at what happened going into turn number 1.
Well, an engine lets go there. See the smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe on both sides of the car. And he lays a tremendous streak of oil down there into turn 1. On his own back wheels, he starts to spin.
Looks like J.D. McDuffie. It is. It's J.D. McDuffie, and that is the Rick Baldwin car that gets collected there.
And there we see 3 of them slipping and sliding down onto that flat apron. A lot of smoke, and then the following cars here are very lucky to avoid that oil that's on the track. You can see it glistening in the sunshine.
Now, but here's the major story out of this incident. As J.D. McDuffie blew his engine coming down to the line, guess what happened? The renegade of the Alabama gang, number 75, made up his lap, came across, and as he comes to the stripe, he is in front of the first, second, and third place car. He's back in the lead lap. Bonnet is back in this thing, David. Now, he's on a roll this week. He won the class, as you folks saw on CBS yesterday. There's another car. That's the J.D. McDuffie car. He's been coming here since 1972. He actually sat on the pole one year up in Dover, Delaware. But his finishes here, best he's done was back in 1976 when he yanked out a 7th. Sure had hard luck today. Good guy, too, J.D. McDuffie.
There's Rick Baldwin, who's going for a rookie this year. His year has not started well.
Rick Baldwin is out of Corpus Christi, Texas, and a good friend of Terry Labonte. He was brought in along with Terry Labonte, got him into the Grand National racing a bit. We'll be back with more live coverage of the Daytona 500 after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Here comes the car repair service we guarantee you like. Amico Certicare. You get trained and certified mechanics, guaranteed. You get a written estimate before any work begins, guaranteed. Our Certicare mechanics work with advanced equipment, guaranteed. And you get this Certicare guarantee on all parts and labor, guaranteed.
And I guarantee this guarantee.
Certicare at Amico Certicare.
Right in my desk drawer, it's not unusual to find safety cones, chemicals, data equipment, demolition contractors, my drawer, you can even find butterfly bells and bubble pack, because that's where I keep my bell system business-to-business yellow pages. Use yours. It's industrial strength.
County Town Living, Monday on the scene.
04, Rick Baldwin coming back on the track after that spin and skirmish down at turn number 1 of the Daytona Speedway, and pulling onto pit road is another of the cars involved. That is the number 26 car of Ronnie Hopkins, excuse me. Ronnie Hopkins, his dad used to build cars for Tiny Lund, a pretty well-known racer in the Greenville area. Let's look at it again in replay.
As the cars went into turn 1, in fact, J.D. McDuffie's engine expired in car number 70. And this is, of course, what happened after. As they got on the oil, he slowed up very suddenly. And none of these cars got in the wall, which, of course, was a very lucky thing for all of them. And nobody else was involved either, which also was pretty lucky. But they laid a lot of oil, a lot of smoke, and brought out the yellow caution flag, which put Neil Bonnet back in the lead lap.
Now, where it started was this blown engine on car number 70, J.D. McDuffie's car.
There you can see the smoke coming out the exhaust pipes, especially heavily on the right-hand side. Obviously popped a piston on the right bank somewhere. He gets out of control there as the oil probably goes all over his back tires. And then right behind him is number 04. That is Rick Baldwin. And he spins, and then 26 coming up behind there. Ronnie Hopkins has got no chance.
20-year-old Ronnie Hopkins just ran out of room. Now, he's been around racetracks all of his life, so he knew what evasive action he could take, but there wasn't much you could do there.
It's very hard on an oval to take too much evasive action, because the banking is really working against you, making too many sharp moves.
So we come down to the 5th caution of the afternoon here in the Daytona 500, and it puts Neil Bonnet back in the hunt among the lead pack for this race.
The standing quarter mile. This machine is about to attack it. A motorcycle that can turn 65 cubic inches into an incredible amount of horsepower. The Honda V65 Magna. It's about to become the world's fastest production motorcycle.
Lou.
Hiya! Do you do brake jobs?
Brakes, coffee breaks.
But can you guarantee a brake overhaul for 24,000 miles or 2 years?
2 years.
At Goodyear, when we overhaul your brakes, we back our good work with a written guarantee. A guarantee that's got our good name on it. Now, who else can give you that?
2 years? Give me a break.
For auto service that's guaranteed, come up to Goodyear.
I do one thing.
Number $40.50.
And when you concentrate on one thing,
and $180.99.
you can be the best.
Now, do you want to bid $200? Sold $200 to the lady.
Just like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They concentrate on chicken. Chicken done right.
Is that all you got to say?
Nope, it's fresh, tender, tasty, delicious. My favorite dish is Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's finger-licking good.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Rather than compare personal computers ourselves, we asked the computers which one was better on the basis of price and memory. The Apple II preferred the Commodore 64. Then we asked the IBM, and it picked the Commodore 64. Then the Radio Shack chose the Commodore 64. That's what we like about our competition. They're so honest. The Commodore 64, what nobody else can give you at twice the price.
Friday, February 25th, something very special will happen on CBS. Possibly one of television's most awesome events. The return of Bo and Luke Duke.
You're back inside Cale Yarborough's car. He's just made a quick pit stop. It puts him back to 5th. Cale, one more pit stop, right?
Right. We can make it in one more stop now, and maybe just have to take 1 can of fuel instead of 2.
How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good right now. The car's still working good. We just got to wait and see what kind of moves we're going to have to make.
Coming down to the line. Worried about those lap cars on the inside?
Well, yeah, you got to keep your eyes open all the time.
Good luck to you. Here they come, back to the line, ready to start. It is number 21, Buddy Baker. The Ford is in front. Chevrolet is in second. second. Driving third is Bill Elliott and another Ford. Then the Buick, number 47 of Ron Bouchard, and the Pontiac. And here he is passing A.J. Foyt, who is a lap down. Cale Yarborough in a Pontiac, maintaining that fifth position, and there is Neil Bonnet right there. He's running on the tail end of the lap. Neil Bonnet is back with them on the tail end of that lap as they get back to full speed. And you now have 6 cars in that cluster for the lead. Bonnet, let's see.
Bonnet is back on the lead lap now, isn't he? Because that
Indeed he is.
Caution flag.
Bonnet is back in the lead lap. And he's trying to get sorted out from among those lap cars as he comes back into turn number 1. We are now at lap 150. Just 125 miles, 50 laps to go.
Well, Bobby Allison needs to get to the front of this pack now because he's a lap down. And I see Jim Sauter's car. Looks like it's smoking to me a bit.
Back in 1968 when Cale won this race, this was where he was dominating. He was really doing a big number at this time. Average speed through 150 laps is 150.905. The record is 174.014. Bobby Allison, 1980. No record for this 500 today, but a lot of action. Joe Ruttman is in front. Joe Ruttman has put his Chevrolet up in front, and the Ford lies in second. Buddy Baker, the Wood Brothers car. And you're back with Cale Yarborough another time as they go down into the west end of the Speedway, up on that 31-degree bank.
There's Bobby Allison forcing his way in front of Ricky Rudd there. What a great shot that was. You just saw how he had to get back in line. Neil Bonnet, you see, holding his own on the outside. Neil Bonnet seems to have a tremendously strong engine. These guys, there's about 6 cars in line there. Neil Bonnet, in theory, should have dropped to the back of that line, but he didn't. Cale Yarborough drops in behind Neil Bonnet and is using Neil's draft now. But Cale's behind Neil. Neil will pick up speed as well as Cale. Drags him past Bobby Allison and is putting himself up onto Neil Bonnet as they come here into the tri-oval. Both of them going around Richard Brooks now on the inside. Neil Bonnet's got a really strong engine, and if I know Cale, he's going to want to try and hang on to that car, that number 75 of Bonnet's, who really can run very strongly on his own.
The new factor is Ron Bouchard, the Pittsburgh, Massachusetts racer, has gone to second place. Bouchard, the surprise winner 2 years back at Talladega, Alabama, in the Talladega 500, is now being passed by Joe Ruttman. Boy, what a mixture of talent going down into turn number 3. It is Ruttman, the California driver, in first. The North Carolinian Baker is in second. Bouchard falling back a bit, the New England competitor. And here's Cale down on the inside, trying to work his way back up to third.
But Cale's got left out in the cold now. He's down on that low side. With no Neil Bonnet in front of him, he's going to have it difficult. He's got a gap to get in there, but he can't get in because right alongside him is Ruttman, which we can see from this shot, but we couldn't see from the other shot from inside his car.
That's Bouchard alongside now.
Now, if he doesn't get back in, that's right, sorry, Bouchard alongside. If he doesn't get back in that hole, he's going to find himself left right out in the cold, and those front 2 cars are going to pull themselves away.
Here comes Bonnet. Bonnet down to the inside, 3 wide, battle for third place. Give it to Bonnet. Drop Cale Yarborough back to 4th.
In a way, that's what Cale needed, was Bonnet to pull in front, so he could use his draft.
But he's got to catch him now.
And now these 2 have pulled out quite a stretch on the rest of the group.
Cale still running side by side with Bouchard. They are door handle to door handle into turn number 1. Cale needs to get away from that situation. And Bonnet is just flying. He has left those cars running side by side. There he is by himself in 3rd position. And you can begin to see an interval here in our next shot that will show you just how much difference there is between 1, 2, and 3. Now there is that 3rd place car. There are your leaders, 89 and 21, hustling down in that 3rd turn. And coming up, there he is, number 75, Neil Bonnet, knocking on the door. 154 laps are complete.
Neil Bonnet seems to have the strongest engine out there, or it appears so, because look at that gap, those front 3 have pulled out on the rest of the field, and Neil pulled his way up to those front 2 all on his own. Cale Yarborough seems to have got really jammed in there. He got stuck on the low side, he could not get back into the draft, left himself out in the cold, and he's now running
trailing right back in 7th spot.
Bill Elliott has come to 4th. Back to 5th falls Cale Yarborough. In 6th is Ron Bouchard. And in 7th, officially now Ricky Rudd. Correction, 7th, a lap down is car number 90.
Richard Brooks, and Richard Brooks has taken Cale Yarborough back into 5th spot, 4th spot really, because Brooks is a lap down. Now he'll be hoping that Cale will help him pull them up that lead group, because now Richard Brooks is the guy that's got to get in front of that lead group and hope for caution.
Cale Yarborough has been looking for someone to draft with, and he may have found it in Richard Brooks. That's that second pairing of cars after you see the first 3. Now there is the Sonny King Ford right in front of Cale Yarborough, and look at that car wiggle.
Richard Brooks there, fighting there for his life, literally, hanging on to that 4,000-pound car, nearly 4,000 pounds car, drafting down the backstretch. Cale Yarborough coming up to do a slingshot, but they've got to make ground on these 2 cars. Number 98, there he goes by him.
Now there goes Cale by, but he'll want to keep 90 with him for a 2-car draft, right?
Exactly. He'll hope that Richard Brooks will fall right in behind him and maybe do the same thing to him, but at least it'll pull him back to that lead group, as we see here.
Leaders coming down. Who's going to win it? Joe Ruttman the first time, Buddy Baker the second time, Neil Bonnet for the first time. What an exciting ride. There sits Cale Yarborough right in 4th, and he's made up some time. Cale is back up there. He is back in this race for sure. One more pit stop, and they said just 1 tank of fuel would be carried, that they wouldn't change tires unless, of course, it was a caution condition.
Well, Joe Ruttman had a CBS camera in his car last year and ran very strongly in the car owned by J.D. Stacy, but he put on a fantastic show this afternoon.
Bonnet, they say, is smoking. There you see a little smoke coming up, number 75. He hasn't got out of it.
He's smoking, too.
He's still in it. Here he comes, and from our camera car, you can see the smoke now. Cale Yarborough riding right there behind.
Not very nice for Cale Yarborough to see that smoke coming out, because smoke means trouble.
But he needs to stay in that draft.
Yeah, there you see the smoke. What
tire smoke, or is it out of the headers?
Hard to tell.
Watching to see if that's something rubbing or if it's in the engine compartment.
Certainly don't want the engine to blow right now.
Cale's making a shot for 3rd. He sure would like to get around this situation and move on. That's just what he's doing. A lot of smoke.
There's smoking coming out of the left front wheel arch. Now, whether it's the left front tire or whether it's coming out of the engine is hard to tell.
Tremendous.
I think he might have got a flat tire. Pull in, Neil. He's missed the pit lane. Now he's in trouble.
Black flag out. Consultation flag for Bonnet. The other day, Dale Earnhardt didn't take it in the 20-lap, 50-mile, $220,000 flash race, which has the pole winners of the previous year all competing against each other. They fined him $10,000. Later, that was rescinded to about $5,000, but it's the kind of dollars that get your attention. Bonnet's slowing down.
He's dropped right off the pace now. He's obviously going to pull in next time around, but I still don't know what it is quite.
Now there is the second place man, Buddy Baker. Cale going to 1st. Buddy Baker going into 1st. Joe Ruttman dropping to 2nd. Cale Yarborough stays there in 3rd. Daytona 500 is going to be another of those typical Daytona finishes to decide it.
Create a car to conquer the wind. A car that lets you slip off the commonplace and experience driving excitement as never before. The Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Sit here and learn firsthand how Firebird conquers the wind and the world. Pontiac, we build excitement. Some things speak for themselves.
How can a guy 5'9" have an unfair advantage over these guys? I use the Gillette Attra Razor. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay in my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. So I get a better shave, close, comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra Advantage.
Sometimes a little advantage goes a long way.
Racing engines run hot. SDP oil treatment fights the effects of heat in racing cars. Your car runs hot, too. In everyday driving, heat weakens your oil's vital protective properties. That's motor oil breakdown. SDP fights motor oil breakdown. SDP strengthens your oil, putting extra lubricants and anti-wear agents to work just where they're needed. Whenever you change or add oil, get SDP oil treatment and fight motor oil breakdown.
Next Saturday and Sunday, the PGA Tour continues from Miami with two-day coverage of the Doral Open here on CBS Sports.
The sixth caution of the day has just been put out for Ron Bouchard. Bouchard blew an engine going down into turn number 1, and at this moment, all the leaders pulling onto pit road. That leaves 4 of them in the lead lap, and here is Cale Yarborough in for a pit stop. You see Waddell Wilson directly in front of his car. Last stop. Advantageous for Cale Yarborough, Joe Ruttman, Buddy Baker, Bill Elliott. A sad moment for Neil Bonnet, who fought his way back into this race from a lap down. On pit road, hood is up. We can take another look at how Cale Yarborough put himself back in front before this pit stop. This will change things again, of course, with them all on pit road and a little more leisurely pit stop here as they change the tires all the way around. 35.5 seconds. 4 tires, tank of gas. Let's take a look at how he sees the lead just a few moments back. There you see the Joe Ruttman car right in front of him. Outside shot, and he took the lead going down the back straightaway. Well, we're back live on pit road another time, right down there in the combat zone. You see car number 75, Neil Bonnet. They still have trouble with the car. There's John Schneider, who's working in Terry Labonte's pits today from the Dukes of Hazzard. Talk about the Dukes of Hazzard. He's got them all with him today. Back with CBS.
Unfortunately, the Budweiser car of Labonte's, in fact, has slipped back a couple of laps now, and they're rather out of the running. They've had a bad week.
Under caution, 6th time working the 164th lap. Every year, the races here at the Speedway bring just thousands of fans, hundreds of thousands of fans to Daytona Beach. And for the tourists, the events are like giant parties. But for the locals, they're much more than fun and games. They are big business.
They call this the world's most famous beach, although I suppose there'd be some people in Waikiki or Miami or even Normandy who dispute the point. But Daytona Beach enjoys one unique quality, and that's its long-time link with automobile racing, a link that has caused both the sport and this once sleepy city in Northeast Florida to prosper. Big money and big speed have been a part of the Daytona Beach area since William K. Vanderbilt and his patrician pals began racing their cars shortly after the turn of the century. Sir Malcolm Campbell exceeded 300 miles an hour on the sand in the 30s and brought the area international prominence. Big-time stock car racing was born on the edge of the surf in the 40s. The Daytona International Speedway unleashed a boom, not only for the competitors, but for the locals, who have reaped riches calculated in the hundreds of millions.
It's a $118 million a year business, and a documented figure to Daytona Beach area.
Over the course of the year, city officials estimate the Speedway's economic impact to total nearly $800 million. Much of that centers around the hotels, whose 18,000 rooms quickly filled to capacity during major race weeks.
Okay, we do have one room. Last one we have available. There's one.
$99. $99? The ocean front balcony.
We usually have reservations a year in advance, and that they come year after year, and if they get off the list, then it takes another year to get back on.
Fills up the town and fills up all the rooms in this whole county. And the spillover from this goes into the north of us all the way up into Jacksonville, which is 100 miles from here, west into Orlando, which is 50 or 60 miles from here, and south into Melbourne, which is again 60 miles from here. And you have to get back into these larger towns before you're going to find motel rooms for that height of the racing season, which is a February 500.
Come race weekend, the no vacancy signs are on all the way up and down the beach. But ironically, the rooms are empty at this time of day because after the sun goes down, the race fans have only two things in mind: to spend money and stand on the gas.
We came to party. Everybody comes down and gets loose and parties and has a great time.
It's the biggest thrill for me of the whole year. This is even better than New Year's.
It's a tremendous economical impact. We couldn't survive without.
The people come in to spend money, and the business just increases 500%. They just come here to spend money and have a good time.
So despite these difficult economic times, Daytona Beach's love affair with racing and the business it generates continues to run at full throttle. Brock Yates, CBS Sports.
Page and the old Cannonball Express man himself. Now let's go to Ned Jarrett, standing by down on pit road.
Ken, this tremendous pace they're setting is beginning to take its toll. Tommy Gale just pulled his Ford into the garage area. Tommy, what went wrong with it?
The engine started seizing. We lost some oil pressure, so we just parked it before it came completely apart.
He's a Pennsylvania driver, Ron Bouchard. A lot of smoke on his cars. He went into turn one, same problem.
Yeah, we had some kind of an engine problem. It sounded like it might have broke a rod or dropped a valve or something, because it was just real quick. It stopped.
Ron, you were beginning to make a move, running right up front there. Who do you see as the strongest now at this point of the race?
I would say Cale and Buddy are the strongest, too, and we were just kind of hanging on to them. We were running real well. The guys did a heck of a job, and the car drove good all day long, and it really makes a difference.
Okay, there's two of them that's had to back the dust.
34 laps to go. You're inside Cale Yarborough's car as we await the restart. Cale, it's getting down to it. Have you got the horses to pull this one out of the fire?
Well, I don't know, Ken. There's 4 or 5 cars that's running real strong here now. I think it's just going to be the man that gets the break here at the end.
What about Baker? That Ford's been really tough.
Yeah, Baker's running strong. That 98 car is running good. The 9 car and the 90 car are all running real strong. So it's going to be tough.
Which of those cars is the most stable?
Well, they all look pretty much the same. Nobody is really in too bad a shape.
Okay, thank you. Cale Yarborough in car number 28 as we come back to the line. Safety car is in. We're ready for resumption of the 25th annual Daytona 500. The field rolls down. 4 cars are now in the lead lap. 1 lap back in the 5th position, number 90, Richard Brooks. With him is Bobby Allison. Ricky Rudd. 75, Neil Bonnet back on pit road at that time. Thus far, we've had 50 lead changes among 11 drivers. The record for this race is 60 back in 1974 when Richard Petty won it. Heartbreaker for Neil Bonnet. Driver who really gave it a great run. Bill Elliott, who is like Huckleberry Finn, kind of a quiet, gangling, tall kid, but can he drive a race car? Here he is, the pride of Dawsonville, Georgia, into 2nd place with his Ford.
Of course, it's a family-owned business, that car, because his brother is the crew chief on that car.
Chevrolet runs up in front. Ford's running in 2nd and 3rd. Pontiac is in 4th with Cale Yarborough. Backstretch. Butman. What a magnificent effort he's made today. Late report from the hospital. Darrell Waldrop's condition is listed as satisfactory. He is in the Halifax hospital for observation after that horrendous crash he had coming down out of the 4th turn.
Joey Ruttman going to lead across across the stripe, which will make his 50th lap in the lead of this race today. A pretty good record for that young man from California.
Cale Yarborough is in fourth, drafting with number 90, Richard Brooks. Brooks just peered down to the inside, broke up the draft a little.
Well, that slow car they were passing there was Neil Bonnet, who's out there. I guess he's just going to try and run round for the finish now.
Joe Ruttman, the leader. Backstretch. The 98 car in front. Can it stay there? Buddy Parrott, the crew chief, long time, started out as a tire buster with the Goodyear folks years ago, worked his way up, became a jack man for one of these teams on pit road, then became a tire changer, became a mechanic. He's paid all of his dues, became a crew chief, and right now his hopes and aspirations ride right there on the point with Joe Ruttman. Here's Larry Newber. Let's try once again to reach Larry Newber.
A little bit of nail biting going on in the...
We're having some technical difficulties here in this race. That goes with the territory. Back with the leaders another time. Or you talk about the mechanics of covering a live battlefield. That's what we're into today as we get down to the final laps. 170 complete, 30 to go, 75 miles remaining. And there you see the front three inches apart at 190 miles an hour. It's still rolling up in front.
Richard Brooks in that blue Ford is trying to make up on that lead group, and right behind him is Cale. Richard Brooks again now. Got to get to the front of these three cars and then hope that there is a caution flag.
Indeed, Richard Brooks is running in fifth position. Brooks trying to move around like Neil Bonnet did, look for a caution that would allow him to go all the way around the 2.5-mile track and get back up to the leaders. Here's Baker down to the inside.
Going under. Bill Elliott in the Ford as he comes up on Joey Ruttman.
Neil Bonnet for another time back on pit road. Long, hard day from here on in. It's great when you're running up in front, but right now, when you're having problems like that, back begins to ache, doesn't it?
No fun at all. This is the time when you really wish the day was over.
Sixth place car remains Bobby Allison. Magnificent job he's done under the worst of conditions. Those ribs have to hurt.
And also he's driving really the backup. He's not even in his backup car. They got rid of two. He's in car number 3, which is really the wrong sort of car for these super speedways. It's designed for the short track.
And one of the stories that's beginning to develop is 7th place. Old Tom Sneva is up to 7th in the Herb Nav car, the Bay Durnell entry. That's right, Sneva is up to 7th.
When we blasted a hole through this master lock on TV, we became the target for a lot of doubters. Since then, newspaper reporters, police departments, even a famous consumer advocate have all given it their best shot. Often more than one. And in dozens of cases, all documented, the master lock held tight. Bulletproof that master locks are tough under fire.
Ollie, I think we're lost.
That's because I can't see out this windshield.
What we need is a new set of Anco wiper blades, like these.
Yes. Give me those.
Replace your old wipers with Anco blades at least once a year. Their special formulated natural rubber gives both American and import cars a clean, smooth wipe.
See? That's much better. But this weather is unbearable.
It certainly is, Ollie.
What makes Pontiac 6000 the new rival to the world's great road cars? Let us count the ways. Front-wheel drive, electronic fuel injection, rack and pinion steering, McPherson front struts, high-tech engineering, European styling. It all adds up to 6,000. Pontiac 6000. And the excitement multiplies. Pontiac, we build excitement.
It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Oh, welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
The best
best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
It sounded like a rifle shot on pit road. It was a tire exploding on Bobby Allison's car. There you see it. He had just come in moments ago.
Coming in most un-Allison-like fashion. He came in too fast, locked up his tires, and actually popped the front right tire as he pulled into his pit.
He had been running in 6th. There is Cale Yarborough. He is in the runner-up spot. He is running in 2nd, but here he comes into the tri-oval, closing on Buddy Baker. Cale Yarborough in that Pontiac, up on the rear deck lid of that Ford, the Wood Brothers car. Both the previous winners, both have tasted victory lane here at Daytona. And don't forget that Bill Elliott, he's been in there so many times and come close. Now there's Tom Sneva, and Tom Sneva is now up to 6th position. Remember that great run he made in Indianapolis a couple of years back? 33rd, all the way up into the lead. Finally had to settle for 2nd. Sneva likes to go stock car racing. That Bader-Nell car, he's still pulling cars up, and he's reported as only a lap down.
Buddy Baker there in the lead, running very high as he comes through turns 3 and 4, right up into that top lane. Maybe the groove has moved up as the race has progressed, but he's running awfully close to that wall and over just about 200 miles an hour.
Bobby Allison back on the track now, 2 laps down. Laps remaining. 177 are complete. 23 to go. And we're with you now, right to the finish. Buddy Baker in front.
Buddy Baker, of course, just loves these super speedways. He is your original lead-foot driver. He's not so keen on the short tracks. He loves these really high-speed places, and he revels in it. Of course, he has the record for the 500-mile race here at 177 miles an hour. We're not going to see that duplicated today because we've had a number of cautions, but he is still, look how close he is to that wall there again.
Buddy Baker's eldest son starts racing this summer. We send him up north with the Yankees. Not with the New York Yankees, with the Yankee stock car folks. There is Baker in front, right up against the wall. Boy, uses up a lot of that track. And there is David Pearson, and they have him listed now currently 6th. Former winner of this event who's been here. He is using the number in which he originally came into auto racing. He had that on a 1934 Ford years ago. The great Silver Fox. David Pearson, winner of 105 races and more super speedway wins than anyone in history at 51. Richard Petty 2nd at 50. All right, up front, there you are. Buddy Baker, number 21. Cale Yarborough in that 2nd spot. And Joe Ruttman of Upland, California, driving the greatest race of his career. Down they come into the tri-oval by the grandstand, packed out, all 77,000 seats, sold out days ago. The infield, they're going to have to double deck the infield another year at this place.
Buddy Baker showing some muscle at last. He's led 18 laps, but Joe Ruttman's led 55 laps in this race. And Buddy Baker just hopes obviously that he can lead on that last lap. But it's not going to be that easy. There's 3 guys there, any one of whom could win.
Next time by, 50 miles to go. Just 20 laps. The same as the Clash. And you remember what that was if you were with CBS yesterday. Was that some race? Well, it looks like we're going to have the same thing at the end of the 500. Now, there's Baker way up high again, David. And down on the inside, it is Cale Yarborough.
Cale does seem to be able to take a lower line. Buddy Baker likes the high line. I guess they're just trying each other out. Let's go down to Ned Jarrett in the pits.
We're with Leonard Wood, the crew chief on Buddy Baker's car, number 21. Leonard, he's up front. Is that where you want him at this point?
Well, he's run Daytona many times in Talladega, and it all depends on how the car's working, how it's handling, how it's running. And I'm sure he knows what to do, where he'd come up, where he could finish the best. And we're going to leave that up to him because he can tell more about it than we can because he's in there.
Apparently it's working good.
Well, it seems to be working good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got a gear in it to draft more so than run in front, but it really looks pretty good, so we're just hoping for the best.
If you say a drafting gear, that would mean that you'd have a little higher ratio, not turn quite as many RPM.
It's a little tall and don't turn as many RPM.
Okay, that's the term they use in racing, Ken, when they say a little taller. That means a little higher ratio, which will permit it to rev those RPMs up in the draft, which they normally will do, but that would not over-rev it having that high gear in it.
Thank you, Dad. A.J. Foyt, his car going away. It's been a long time since he's had
victory in Grand National Racing. Here he comes onto pit road. Dick Hutcherson helping him. They're a great combination when it comes to stock car racing. AJ loves to come down here and run these stock cars, although, of course, as America's well aware, his name is in IndyCar racing. 48 years old and still as tough as when he first went up there and ran as a rookie at Indy. Lake Speed saying goodbye. The Haas Ellington car coming apart late in the race. 4 cars lead lap. A relative newcomer, Bill Elliott there, and then Joe Ruttman, who's had so much short track experience and only moved up into the NASCAR Grand National ranks a couple of years ago. And up in front, 2 42-year-old drivers who've done it all. Cale Yarborough, winner of 74 Grand National races in his very fine career, riding there in second spot. Buddy Baker right along with him. Baker's at 20 races that he's won, or 18. Baker loves the super speedways, has not done nearly the amount of races that Yarborough has done. Now there is Yarborough trying for the inside. Yarborough trying to make a move and then not going through. Quickly to Ned Jarrett.
You mentioned that Lake Speed had gone by the wayside. Here's Haas Ellington, who owns that car. What's the problem, Haas?
Well, Ned, I think we dropped a valve or something and started missing, and then they went on ahead and blowed up, I think. But, you know, we had trouble all day. First of all, we got a lap down, you know, when we pitted, and the rest of them stayed out. We got it back, and then we had 2 tires, you know. We rolled something, cut 2 down, so just wasn't our day. So maybe we can come back, we don't know, and do something good later.
Well, Ken, a year ago, Buddy Baker was driving this car number 1 owned by Haas Ellington, but now he's still out there riding, and Haas's car is in the pits.
4 cars in the lead lap. Buddy Baker came here for the first time in 1961. Cale Yarborough made his first appearance at Daytona, 1962. Joe Ruttman just a couple of years back. Bill Elliott is starting in his 4th Daytona 500. They are the front 4.
Bill Elliott putting on a pretty good show this afternoon. David Pearson, car number 16, pulling into the pits.
7th place car is on pit road, David Pearson. 5th place car is Richard Brooks. There's David Pearson. 6th place car is Ricky Rudd. 7th is this number 16 of Pearson. Then the 8th place car is, or has been, A.J. Foyt. Cancel that and move up into 8th car number 44, Terry Labonte, who started last, next to last today.
And Neil Bonnet's on pit road again. I should think they'll be about ready to call this a day now. There's obviously something pretty seriously wrong with that engine.
Falling back
Buddy Baker leaves again over the line because Bobby Allison is right behind him now, but of course he is at least 2 laps down, so he's really not much of a chance.
Falling back to 9th, Tom Sneva. 11th, a couple of laps down, is Bobby Allison. The 12th position is Jody Ridley. The 13th position now is Foyt. 14th position, number 66, Phil Parsons, and then coming up next to that group is Jimmy Means. Back to Ned Jarrett.
J.C. Elder, who's the crew chief on this car 75. Jake, what's the problem with Neil?
It's blowing out so much oil, we can't tell where it's coming from, Ned.
Jake is a man of very few words, but he flat knows how to set a car up to get around the racetrack fast, but they're having engine problems here today, so they're just trying to ride it out.
Jake Elder, crew chief, who had a winner here in 67. Some young kid at that time now named Mario Andretti came down here and ran loose. Just folded from one side of the track to the other all through the 500-mile races. Scared these guys half to death.
Scared the opposition off, I believe, yeah. And I think Joe Ruttman looked early on this afternoon as he was trying to do the same thing. But boy, he really has hung in there well. And this could be anybody's race. They again swap positions on the back straight there. Buddy Baker slipping from first to second, well, third rather, second in actual fact, third on the road.
Here's Cale holding on. Does he have more? Is he setting his man up?
There you see the sun starting to really become a problem as you look through the windscreen of that car. The camera picks it up very well, that glare, as these screens not only get oily and dirty, but with the fine sand all around this track, they actually become really, really pitted, and you could never use the screen again after this one race.
Cale Yarborough drafting off Bobby Allison, now pulling by Bobby. A great American race coming down to a shootout among some of the finest Americans you could ever hope to meet. Buddy Baker, Joe Ruttman, Cale Yarborough, and Cale again has himself a shot at first place.
We have a report that Phil Parsons, car number 66, Phil is Benny's brother, has got a loose front fender. So I expect they'll be dragging him in. There'll be a black flag, I imagine, for him before it comes off and brings out a caution flag.
wrestling that car, and that's looking out the back at second place. That's just how close they have run all day. There has been no let-up. There have been no timeouts. There have been no half times. It's been like this except for 5 short caution periods in this event. Back to the pits, Bobby Allison another time. Last year's
having trouble with his right side rubber by the look of things.
Up, change of position. Baker goes back in front. The Ford goes in front of the Pontiac. Buddy Baker back to the lead. Talk about determination. And as David Hobbs mentioned, he loves these super speedways. He just enjoys going quick. Here in Talladega are his 2 favorite tracks. A lot of drivers are spooked by these places.
Well, it certainly spooked me. I'm not too sure about this 200-mile-an-hour lapping business, but Buddy Baker seems to revel in it. The faster they go, the more he likes it.
10 to go. When they come through, there will be 10 laps to go. There's your leader.
Of course, he's a great guy, Buddy Baker. He's an enormous man as well.
There's Terry Labonte, number 44. He is running back in 9th.
Being followed there by David Pearson, and I think that's Tom Sneaver.
That's right. All in together. Back to the leaders. Baker won it all at 80. Driving for the team that is now in second place. He was driving for Waddell Wilson.
Coming into some lap traffic as they come into the tri-oval. In theory, those slower cars are supposed to stay low on the track and let the fast guys go on the high side.
Terry Labonte is up to 6. Moves Pearson to 7. Moves Sneaver to 8. Moving up in front through lap cars comes Buddy Baker. His wife Colleen is scoring that car over in the scoring stand across the way, as she has for all the years of their marriage. Incidentally, Bobby Allison is celebrating his 23rd wedding anniversary here today. His wife Judy, she's scoring his car.
Dale Yarborough hanging right on there to Buddy Baker. We keep saying Buddy Baker likes these super speedways. I haven't noticed that Cale Yarborough has too much of an aversion to them either himself. He's always run extremely strongly on these races.
Ken Squire, David Hobbs with you here at the start-finish line high above the track, but not where this Goodyear blimp is showing you this dramatic picture going through the west end of the speedway. I would presume that is exactly where Cale Yarborough wants to be, holding onto that Ford, getting ready for the slingshot to decide it all in this $1 million shootout this afternoon that now is about 8.5 laps away.
Well, of course, the thing about this slingshotting is it's the only way to get by these guys, but everything's got to work right.
There they are, back up on the east end of the track through 3 and 4, and with the man who has crewed this car, number 28, Ned Jarrett, is about to speak.
And he is Waddell Wilson. Waddell first. Are you having the heating problem? Is it going to be a problem between now and the end of the race?
Right now, Ned, on the last caution, Phil said it was at 220 on water temperature. Whether it's cooled down or not, I don't know, because I don't want to bother him.
Is he sitting where he wants to be now in second place? Is that where you want him to be?
Well, that's where I want him to be, but it's up to him. He knows the race car and what he can do, so, you know, I'm not telling him anything.
Okay, Cale Yarborough, of course, a 2-time winner here at Daytona, and he knows how to run this racetrack, as Waddell said.
Cale Yarborough, winner of some $3,700,000 in his racing career. Buddy Baker, who's made $2,300,000. They both started about the same time. Cale, the 3-time and only man to ever win the national title successively 3 times, right there in that second spot. And look at Joe Ruttman hanging in there.
Well, that was when Cale Yarborough was driving for Junior Johnson. They were an absolutely overpowering combination, and he looks as if he's getting up to a really good start with his new team, his new sponsor, and of course his new crew chief, Waddell Wilson, who's had the pole car here at the Speedway for what, how many years now?
Well, added 4 years in a row, then lost it this year.
Lost it this year, but by a twist of fate. Otherwise, they would have the fastest ever lap here, over 200 miles an hour.
Absolute record. 2 veterans right there on the point, first and second, right behind them. 2 relative newcomers to Grand National Racing, and among those 4, we are just minutes away from deciding the 25th annual Daytona 500. What a silver anniversary shootout this one is. Taking a deep breath, getting a little different clutch on the steering wheel there. You can see Buddy Baker as you appeared right in his window from that amazing picture.
Changed his grip on the wheel. These cars are so heavy that it's not quite like driving a road racing car. It's not a quick movement. You've got a lot more movement in the wheel, and the wheel's a lot heavier, and you've really got to wrestle with that wheel.
Blisters are still blisters.
You said it, but Buddy, if anybody's got big enough arms to wrestle with the wheel, it's Buddy Baker, and of course Cale short in stature, is incredibly strong.
6th, 7th, and 8th place now on your screen, with Terry Labonte in the 6th, Tom Sneva in the 7th position. Back to the leaders, getting down for the finish. Now Baker out in front. Yesterday they actually slowed the 300-mile sportsman race way down, in which Darrell Waltrip came home the winner. Waltrip injured today in a savage crash at turn 4, responding well in satisfactory condition. But
now who's going to be the spoiler here? We've got 4 laps to go. We're really getting down to the wire.
Joe Ruttman running right where he did a year ago, 3rd place at the end of this race. He won't want to stay there. He'll want to make his move. 195 complete. We're in the last 5 laps of the Daytona 500. It is as dramatic, as exciting as any race we've ever seen, and no one is sitting down. This is it. We're getting down to it, and it will be decided, presumably, at the finish line. We said that one year, Donnie Allison and Cale Yarborough in 1979 decided it for themselves in the back straightaway, as you'll recall. In 1976, Richard Petty and David Pearson took each other into the wall coming out of turn 4. How is this one going to end? It's going to go down as another of those typical great Daytona finishes. Baker in front, Yarborough in 2nd, Ruttman in 3rd, and riding 4th, another spoiler, Bill Elliott.
Well, in 1979, it was just 2 cars way out on their own. Now we've got 4 cars, any one of which could win this race. And I tell you what, I'm glad I'm not in there, because I really wouldn't have a clue as to when to make my break, because whenever you do it, you almost know it's going to be wrong. The guy at the back of this group now, Bill Elliott, really with 3 laps left as they come past the stripe this time, has got to make some sort of a move. There's no way he can pull himself up from 4th to 3rd in 1 lap.
Coming past these fans, these 77,000 sold-out seats, going down into turn number 1.
I can tell you, looking out of the window here, that not one of those seats is filled at the moment. Every single person here is standing up.
And in the infield, you see the thousands more that have been here for several days having a party of it. It's a festival, it's a gathering. It is the great American race, and it has never looked better when it comes to its 25th conclusion. 44 and 53 are racing for position further back. Terry Labonte and Tom Sneva are battling for 6 right now. They're having a pretty good squabble, but we don't dare leave these leaders. There's so much on it. The first $1 million stock car race in history, and there will now be 2 to go. 2 laps left. Here they come to the line. They're lapping Neil Bonnet, who wanted so much to be in the hunt at the finish. That's the heartbreaking part, when you see someone with the determination and the grit of a guy like Bonnet having to idle it out. But there are 30 races in the nearly $10 million Grand National Tour. Tomorrow they start all over. They go right to Richmond, Virginia, and get ready for next Sunday afternoon for 400 laps on a half-mile. Well, now you're with Neil. Now you are with Cale. A lap and a half to go. Where is the move going to come?
Well, there you see it from both sides. You see Cale's view there at the lead of Buddy Baker. You can see from outside that the gap between Buddy Baker, Cale Yarborough, and then Cale Yarborough back to Ruttman in 3rd spot is about the same. And then right behind them is Bill Elliott in that Ford. All of them gone very fast this week. All of them have led the race. Bill Elliott, the white flag is out. Last lap.
Turn number 1, Baker there on the point. He's got to be looking in that rear view mirror, wondering where Yarborough will take his shot. Now, they're both brave, and he knows that there's no trying to contain Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough has one thing on his mind right now, is to take that shot. They're in the back straightaway. Here comes Yarborough to the inside, identical to 1979. Baker gives him room, and going into first goes Cale Yarborough. Yarborough's taking the lead, looking back. There's 98 Joe Ruttman into 2nd place. Ruttman's going high, and here comes Cale trying to throw the block.
Buddy Baker's going under Ruttman again as they come off 4.
Down they come for the finish. Here comes Baker on the outside. Bill Elliott. 3 cars side by side fighting at the line. Cale Yarborough does it.
What fantastic strategy. Jeepers, he did that just so right.
Let's listen to Cale Yarborough. Cale, can you hear me? Cale Yarborough, Ken Squire, can you hear me?
Thank you very much, CBS.
Thank you very much, Cale Yarborough. What a magnificent race. What a great race, and what tremendous strategy, Cale, coming down that back straightaway.
Well, I knew what I had to do, Ken, and It's like a checker game, you know. You put yourself in the right spot, you can win the game, and that's what happened.
Did you even for a moment think 1979 Baker may throw a block?
Well, no, I got more faith in Baker than that.
Well, it was a spectacular finish. At the end, it looked like at least 2 other cars are going to make a run on you and try to come back. Ruttman really gave it a stab. You made a move to hold him.
Well, he sure did, but you know, after all the bad luck we've had this week, just thank the good Lord for a good, safe race, and we saved it all for last.
Did Joey Ruttman, in fact, coming out behind you in that draft, did that help you get by Buddy Baker?
Well, yeah, it helped some. That's what I had it planned.
Cale Yarborough, you have made racing history, and we sincerely, everyone at CBS and all of American racing enthusiasts, thank you.
Thank you, Ken Squire and CBS.
All right, he's headed into victory lane. I mean, you've never seen pictures like this. Headed for victory lane, a slight pause, and then pulling through the fence, Ned Jarrett, a 50-time winner himself, who raced against this guy, waiting for him there. And he's just about to turn it off for the first time since about 12:22. Let's go right down to Ned Jarrett.
A happy crew here, Ken Squire, as they unfasten the safety paraphernalia, the shoulder harness, the seat belts. Of course, that really is just one buckle that holds all of that together. Now he's taking his helmet off, getting congratulations from the crew here as they try to get to him. So Cale Yarborough in victory lane here in the Daytona 500 for the 3rd time, one of the hardest chargers that this sport has ever known. And certainly he did what he had to do out there today. He stayed right up front all of the way, and then when it came time to make the move, he knew what he had to do, and he did it in very fine fashion. As he pulls his helmet off now, we'll get him out of here in just a moment. He looks pretty relaxed, Ken. It's amazing, really, after a man running 500 hard miles the way that he has. He's looking in the rearview mirror to be sure, you know, that he looks okay for our CBS cameras. He realizes he's been on them all day long, but in a little different fashion than what he's going to be here now in victory lane as Waddell Wilson comes to the front of the car to here we go. We got him. Congratulate him. Here he is, one of the smallest drivers on the circuit, but still one of the strongest. As he gets the accolades here in victory lane. That's his car owner, Harry Ranier, giving his congratulations, and now ours. Cale, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Ned. I just want to thank the Lord for a good, safe race in this car. I'll tell you what, El, and everybody did such a fantastic job, but made my job easy. All I did was drive it.
Cale, the car that you brought here that was so fantastic, ran over 200 miles an hour, got busted up. This is a backup car.
Well, yeah, this is a backup car, and a car that we wasn't even going to bring down here. And it's a Pontiac. We knew the other car was the best, but, you know, these boys can make anything run, I guess, and that's what they did today. And, you know, this Hardee's car, Hardee's Coca-Cola, Valvoline, I just appreciate all of them because they all had a part of it.
Well, I'll tell you, you had quite an audience riding with you all day.
Well, I sure did, Ned, and I hope they enjoyed it as much as I did.
Cale, you knew what you had to do on that last lap there.
Well, yeah, I knew what I had to do. I knew it was a checker game that I played all day, and a lot of times when I was back there in the back, I know it looked like that I may not have been doing what was right, but I knew I thought I knew what I was doing by staying back there and watching what was going on, so I'd know how to make my move at the end.
Ken, he did know what he was doing.
Congratulations,
The 3rd time he's won it. Cale Yarborough. Coming up on CBS today, the Virginia Cavaliers, the Ralph Sampson. You're going to see them in action against Missouri, and we'll be back with more from the 25th Annual Daytona 500 in a moment.
Most guys spend Sunday taking it easy. Not me. When I'm racing a bandit, there's no taking it easy. So I'm out here early before a race trying to relax. Just me and my scope. Just a pinch gives me real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. And that wintergreen flavor's a real winner.
Go smokeless with Skoal or Copenhagen. A pinch is all it takes. When America wanted a high-mileage radial that could track through rain and snow, Goodyear came through with Arriva.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
Arriva, the all-season radial. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
today, the NCAA basketball action continues on CBS Sports with a battle of the centers as Steve Stepanovich of Missouri take on Ralph Sampson in Virginia today on CBS Sports.
Waddell Wilson is the builder and the crew chief on this car, number 28 in victory lane. Waddell, you told us there just before the race ended that you was leaving it up to Cale. He had to make the right decision to suit you.
Well, he really did, and, you know, all the credit goes to him for being able to pull it off. You know, he done a fantastic job. You know, we've had our ups and downs this week, and, you know, one minute we was happy when we qualified. The next minute I was worried about Cale in that wreck, and I just want to thank God for, you know, granting us this victory and helping Cale through the wreck on, you know, last week qualifying. And, you know, I just praise him for helping us. And I want to thank all the crew. You know, they done a heck of a job. And Hardee's and Valvoline and Coke and Mr. Rainier, you know, for standing with all of us. And, you know, it's just a great group of guys.
And our thanks from CBS for allowing us to carry our camera in your car out there. Some fantastic shots.
Well, you know, it was kind of difficult to start with because, you know, we'd wrecked our Monte Carlo and then we had to switch cars, and, you know, the guys with CBS, you know, they really helped and they worked with us, and, you know, they worked at night and we worked on it in the daytime, so the two crews put it back together.
Okay, the second time in 4 years that one of Waddell Wilson's cars has been in victory lane here at Daytona.
And you talk about the nice people, that's one of them, Waddell Wilson. Now watch this pass from inside Cale Yarborough's car. This is the one for the money. Down to the inside. That's where he took the lead, right where he crashed in 1979. And now he is in the lead. And Joe Ruttman is coming right along with him.
And that, of course, is what really helped him a lot. With Joe Ruttman coming along, and they did a double draft over the line. And now you see Ruttman and Buddy Baker touch as they come up to the stripe. But Cale Yarborough is home free as he takes another lead and wins his third Daytona 500.
Ah, the ecstasy of it all.
There's a time in life for the young to say, I want something else, a different way. The town's the same, the people too. School is over, need something to do. The services have it, it'll really show. You'll see new places, you'll really grow in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Challenge, adventure, excitement too, a time to enjoy and see something new. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, feel really free, serving your country for all to see in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Be part of a team, be friends forever. A part of the services you won't forget ever. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
From out of the distance comes a driver's car. Pontiac 2000 for 1983. A car that takes on the road with a smooth shifting 5-speed transmission with overdrive. The ready response of electronic fuel injection. And the steady whirling power of an overhead cam 4-cylinder engine. Pontiac 2000. Pure driving pleasure. At Pontiac, we build excitement.
The average speed was only 155.979 miles per hour, by which Cale Yarborough defeated 3 men at the finish line. Bill Elliott is being credited with second place once again. Buddy Baker falling to third. In fourth place was Joe Ruttman. In fifth place, a lap down, Richard Brooks, followed by Terry Labonte in sixth. Seventh was Tom Sneva. Finishing eighth today was David Pearson. Ninth was last year's winner, Bobby Allison. Jody Ridley is given 10th, and A.J. Foyt unofficially at this moment is in 11th spot. Cale led 9 times for 24 laps before the race was over. 42 cars started the event and 23 finished.
Well, and what a finish too. I mean, Joe Ruttman looked so strong for the whole race there. Richard Petty was the story early on. It looked like he was going to get his 8th win here at Daytona Speedway, but the car blew up. His son blew up, who was also running extremely strongly. But what a team they're going to make. Not a team, but what a pair they're going to make later on in the year. But Cale Yarborough won a great race for CBS. And quite honestly, the cameras, everybody's cameras here told the story today without us.
Well, again, a late update on Darrell Waltrip. He is in satisfactory condition at the Halifax Hospital after that very savage crash that he had. According to the record book here today, 54 lead changes among 11 drivers. That's the story of the 1983 Daytona 500 for David Hobbs, Ned Jarrett, Larry Newber. This is Ken Squire saying so long for the Great American Race, the 25th running of the Daytona 500.
This CBS Sports Special has been sponsored by Pontiac, who invite you to test drive a new Pontiac at your Pontiac dealer. At Pontiac, we build excitement. Miller High Life. Welcome to Miller Time. And by Goodyear, makers of Arriva, the all-season radio.
For the Virginia County.
Hey, gotta send a package overnight?
Call United Air Express. 800 package. Put in the number after me.
How did Ronald Reagan and Frank Sinatra get mixed up in a story about an ancient order of knights of the realm looking for a new kingdom? Watch 60 Minutes this evening on CBS.
When the biggest stereo names have factories that are overstocked, who do they call?
CMC. That's right. And during CMC's factory overstock sale, you'll get the biggest names in stereo at the best prices in town.
Like our lowest price ever on this Pioneer turntable.
A super deal on this Clarion AM/FM cassette car stereo.
Great savings on this totally automatic Sansui cassette deck.
A specially priced Techniques receiver plus a whole lot more.
The factory overstock sale going on now at CMC.
Here comes real driving excitement in the 1983 Pontiacs. Get 11.9% financing on all new Pontiacs now. 11.9% on Firebird, Pontiac 6000, Pontiac 2000, Phoenix, Pontiac 1000, Grand Prix, and Bonneville. You must take retail delivery by March 31st from your Pontiac dealer's inventory or place a factory order on a new 83 Pontiac by February 28th.
When you plant your corn, you can't use most insecticides in furrow. Some may injure your crop, and others lose effectiveness when applied in furrow. That's why I recommend Counter. It not only controls the most destructive corn soil pests, but it's also the only insecticide that's just as effective either banded or in furrow, and it won't harm germinating seedlings. Thanks. Get Counter. You can depend on it year after year after year.
Ed Harding and 8 on the Scene Sports, weeknights.
The site is the Brendan Byrne Arena in New Jersey. It's Missouri against Virginia. Norm Stewart has the 10th-ranked Tigers in position to win an unprecedented 4th straight Big 8 title. Leading the way is the Tigers' all-time leading scorer, Steve Stepanovich. The 6'11" senior is enjoying his finest season. He's the best center in Mizzou history. Terry Holland has been the ACC Coach of the Year the past 2 years, and his team has one goal: win the national championship. 7'4" Ralph Sampson has been the National Player of the Year the past 2 seasons. Only Oscar Robertson and Bill Walton have been able to capture the honor 3 years in a row. From the Meadowlands, 2 top 10 teams meet on your NCAA Championship Network.
CBS Sports presents NCAA basketball. Today's game between the Missouri Tigers and the Virginia Cavaliers, live from the Brendan Byrne Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey, is sponsored by Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. And by IBM.
Welcome to Brendan Byrne Arena, as today the Virginia Cavaliers, ranked number 3, meeting the Missouri Tigers, 10th ranked. A big game as far as the top 4 seeds are concerned in NCAA tournament play. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender along with Billy Packer. And Billy, Missouri's had a tough week. 3 games in 4 days. They lost a difficult game yesterday at Oklahoma State.